Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is F1 Tonight Netherlands, Season 7, Round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix. I am your host, Daniel Hazzah Burt, and joining me as always, the brilliant, the magnificently well-dressed, and the fantastically knowledgeable Adrian Stats Rich. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you, Dan. And again, you're always impressed with these introductions. That's a bit random now.
Well, you know, I just like you just dress very well, mate. And I just sort of bring it up.
That's thank you very much. It's actually really good to hear that.
These are all off the fly, and I just make them up as I go along. So that's what came out tonight. Anyway, let's have a look and see how the drivers are getting on now following the Monaco Grand Prix last time out. So, leading the way at the moment, Boy Williamson, 116 points, still stays on top at the moment. Nicky Visser, we got two there for the price of one. Nicky Visser in second place is 106 points for Toro Rosso. Mazden Brain for Alfa Romeo is third with 78 points. He moves up one place from the last Grand Prix. Amy Hartman then falls down one. He's 70 points still in fourth place for Alfa Romeo. Then Marcel Droning up 2 places from last time for Red Bull, 51 points for him, P5. Then Sildovitz in 6th for McLaren, Zander Hermans for Ferrari is 7th. Guido Werschen for Red Bull is 8th. Then John Donkel for Toro Rosso is 9th. And Paul Quarret for Mercedes is P10. And Ari Kopp 11th with 7 points. His teammate, Martin Pider Cooper, jumps up quite a bit from last time. He was 16th. I think he jumped up about 5 places or so, 4 places from last time. With a good P7 last time out, so he is P12 with 6 points. Nisha Hadusing is 13th with 5. And Mark Jappers for Renault is 14th. Peter Phillip for Renault also 15th. Miguel Torni 16th for Mercedes, still yet to score for him so far this season. Barry Deepervane for Haas is 17th. And then Niels Eekma for Haas, also the new guy on the block, 18th. And then the 2 racing points still unassigned for this season. I'm being called back by Adrian. I must have lost him at some point. Hazzah! There we go. I can still hear a phone call in the background. I don't know where I lost you there, but I've gone through the runners and riders, so glad you're here now. No, I mean, looking awfully close still, isn't it? I mean, Boy Williamson, Nicky Visser starting to edge out that gap a bit now at the top. You've got those two kind of running away a little bit at the moment, but apart from that, still kind of close. There's 2 battles, isn't there? The top half and the bottom half still going on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a bit more spread out than it is in the English league or UK league. But yeah, the top 2 are the same top 2 as they were this time last season, but in the reverse order. Boy Williamson just 10 ahead of his former teammate Nicky Visser. And then yeah, you've got sort of below that top 4. Yeah. Sort of best of the rest battle going on between sort of fourth and 9th, sorry, and then a sort of third battle for the scraps at the bottom.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's still good to see that. I mean, I know we're still kind of early doors, only 7 races in now, but you can still have people really jump up and down the order just with a good finish in one race.
Yeah, exactly. It gives each driver their own sort of target to try and or goal to achieve during the race, rather than being like, I'm never going to win, so what's the point?
Yeah,
exactly. It's more kind of race I can beat, so I'm going to try to beat them, and then the next race they might beat someone a bit quicker. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, even guys at the bottom, a good finish, P5, even P6, P7 could bring them up into the top 10. So lots to play for, isn't there?
Absolutely.
So with the drivers out of the way, Constructors' Championship, Ferrari have now taken the lead. I thought they had anyway. Alfa Romeo is still at the top. I haven't switched that one around. So there we go. Ferrari are actually P1. See, I knew it. I just hadn't done it. So Ferrari actually lead the way, 153 points. Alfa Romeo P2 with 148. Rest I can assure you is in order though. Toro Rosso third with 137. And the Red Bulls in 4th with 86 points. Down with 46 points of P5. Williams with 13 are 6th place. They actually overtake Mercedes for 7. Renault have 4 in 8th. Haas and the Racing Point, of course, still yet to score. So it's a bit more spread out at the top end, isn't it? I mean, again, Alfa Romeo and Ferrari are still neck and neck, really, aren't they? I mean, what's that? 15 points between them. And then after that, there's kind of the closer guys down the bottom, sort of P5 down to back of the field. And there's kind of those two Red Bull teams are on their kind of Jack Jones, really, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, they do seem to be. Although, as you said, only third was actually 16 points between third and that should be first. Of course, the Ferraris. So those top three in their own battle, and then then the midfield, or those two midfield teams really, the Red Bulls and the McLarens battling it out, and then again best of the rest. Between the others, but you can tell just from that both Ferrari and Alfa Romeo, but all of their four drivers are really just so on form. They're probably the four best in the league, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, Toro Rosso aren't out of the game, are they? Here, I mean, they are sort of 20 points behind, less than 20 points behind Ferrari at the moment, and like we said before in a couple of intros, a race, a good 1-2 is what 40 something points, isn't it? So it's not that big of a gap.
44
like
with the fastest lap. Yeah, no, exactly. It's really not. And Marcel Droner, Guido Esch, and the two Red Bull drivers, both of them are absolutely capable of winning races. In fact, Guido Esch won here last season, if you remember, when he was driving for McLaren. Baz and Brian was his teammate, and in fact, both McLarens had an absolutely stellar Grand Prix. I think off the top of my head, Baz finished third in that race after some hiccups, should we say? But yeah, he was really, really on form here. So yeah, expect those two to, or that team to, certainly make up that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. All still to play for in both championships, which was really good to see at this stage in the season. Moving on then to the track overview here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Quebec, Canada. The track stats to begin with, and the circuit length of 4.361 kilometers. A race length in total tonight, 305.27 kilometers, and 70 laps for the drivers round this pretty complex circuit, really. Very fun one to drive, though. We'll start with the Sector 1, of course, which goes from the start-finish all the way around to turn 6, there and thereabouts, going around the very iconic Center S there, that start complex of turns 1 and 2. Down the chicane of 3 and 4, sort of low speed or lowish speed chicane there. Easy to cut the corners, as we'll see a lot around this track overview. There's so many places where you can pick up those penalties, as we saw with the UK guys on Tuesday. Sector 2 then goes from Pont de la Concorde from turn 6 all the way down to pretty much the hairpin at turn 10, through the casino corners as well there at turn 8 and 9. Very fast right and left hand corner. Also got the DRS straight between 7 and 8, which we'll see in a bit. Then the third sector goes through Lepingal. I probably butchered that, but it's the pin in English, of course, being the hairpin, from turn 10 all the way back down to the start-finish straight. Of course, the casino straight there, huge straight, with the DRS as well to get an overtake for the ballsy drivers into 13 and 14, the Wall of Champions corner there, that chicane. Again, another point where you can get those corner-cutting penalties rack up as well. Especially if you're getting overtaken, can really force you offline and sort of put you into a position to cut the corners. That, of course, then comes back down to the start-finish line that completes the lap of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The first DRS section point is just before turn 6, and that activates almost immediately from turn 7 all the way down to turn 8. And then the second zone just after turn 8, so it's so important to use that DRS to your benefit if you can and get up behind someone in front, then stick with them through 8 and 9, get DRS again for the straight, which you'll see just now. It's all the way, it's practically half the track from 11 all the way down to 13. Then you've not got it through the chicane, of course, but it reactivates right away again down the start-finish straight. So you've got such a big opportunity there to make some passes. So getting in that DRS section point within a second around turn 8 and 9, really, really important. And of course, the speed trap is on the back straight there as well, where you're going fastest. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Adrian? I know it's one of my favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favourites, both from a driver's point of view and to commentate and spectate the races. Yeah, it's you mentioned it's quite it can be quite a complex track. For me personally, it's sort of I consider it one of the easier circuits, but it's very difficult to avoid penalties at this this circuit, as a lot of the drivers found out on Tuesday. Turn 13, in fact 13 and 14, the Wall of Champions chicane, a final turn, being the main sort of culprit for those penalties. Turn 1 as well is another one, and turn 3 and 4 can catch out as well with the pens. But if you're able to avoid all of that and avoid collisions, it can actually be quite a smooth and enjoyable race.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that can make it sort of easy to get penalties, is just how perhaps at first glance easy it seems, because you kind of you're a bit more relaxed, and therefore you can cut a bit of the corners. I find it's a very straightforward track in terms of the appearance, but actually getting the most out of it's one of the hardest, I think.
Yeah, it's what they say, difficult to master. Easy to learn, difficult to master, and that's pretty much this circuit in a nutshell. But absolutely one of my favourite Grand Prix. Yeah,
same for me. And the beauty of it as well is it's one great one to watch, which we'll be doing tonight, of course, for the next 3 hours or so. So, do you want to run through who we've got on track at the moment whilst I transition us over to the track side?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Perfect.
Okay, so racing tonight then, we've got Boy Williamson and his teammate Sunderhammers. Both the Ferraris will be here tonight defending their championship position. Sildervit is here with his teammate, and Nishay Madrasing in the two McLarens. They're both here. Nicky Visser and John Donkel in the two Toro Rossos, both here. Damie Hartman and Baz Denbrian, they're both here. They'll be certainly looking to try and take that top spot back. Barry Deepervane, one of our newest drivers, and his teammate Niels Ikema, the newest driver. They're both here. They're both attending, which is good. Paul Carey is here. Miguel Torney is also here, although Torney suffers a back start tonight for no clip was submitted. The 10-minute clip, mandatory 10 clip, needs to be submitted before Saturday night. Martin Parder-Cooper, he's here. His teammate Ari Kopp is also here. He looks like he's actually crashed out, so he will not be going through to Q2. That's bad news for Williams. And bad news for Red Bull as well, because Marcel Dronig is here. Guido Urshan is here, but as I said, bad news. He also looks like he has crashed out very early. In fact, earlier than Torney, the back start. I wonder if Urshan also had a back start. I'll look into that. Mark Stappers is here. His teammate is the only driver who is not attending tonight. That's Peter Phillips, not able to attend. And that is your 17 drivers there.
Very, very good indeed. Yeah, another good turnout for the NL guys tonight. I am just going to go below decks, and if that's not something I can't say on stream, I'm just going to go under the desk and connect my computer to my Wi-Fi, because I just realised I forgot to do that, just to ensure we get a good quality stream tonight, of course.
No expense
that in. No, absolutely not. If I can just leave you to do some talking for a second, I won't be too long. I'm just going to get this plugged in.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem, sir. Not a problem. Right, I'll try and do all my talking on John Donkel, because that's who you've left the camera on.
Who would you like? Let's go to someone you want first.
No, we can keep it on. Oh, actually, if you can put it on P10, Marcel Dronig, he's on a hot lap at the moment.
Perfect.
So I'll run through his lap. Thank you very much. Dronig, they're looking pacey in the first sector. He's some half a second actually off on the first sector. Another 2 or 3 tenths in the second. Not too many drivers to actually beat here to go through. In fact, it doesn't need to beat anyone to go through, because we've got 3 drivers out of the session already. So top 15 normally go through, and obviously there's only 14 drivers on track, so the drivers know that while they do have to set a competitive lap, they don't necessarily have to set a blisteringly competitive lap.
Ethernet cable rather than the Wi-Fi. Bear with us on that one.
That's no problem.
Get back
We
up
have
and
stuff.
running.
We have got through far worse glitches than this, so I think we're all good.
I think we're back to normal, guys. So we're all back on the right foot. And really quick times being run in this first session, isn't there? So, Sildovitz, Zanderherm, Boy Williamson, all in the 109s. They're certainly not holding back in Q1, are they?
No, they're not. No, I doubt that is actually even their true pace. To be perfectly honest, while they are very quick times, I expect to see much quicker times. Not necessarily in Q2, of course, because they sort of want to save the tyres for the start of the race. But in Q3, certainly we'll see those times come down further still, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Q3 is going to be a pretty good one, I think. Like you're touching on now, there's all the drivers in this session are through, aren't they, with some of those DNFs that you went through on the driver rundown. Unfortunate for those guys to have had those accidents so early on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it does happen, unfortunately, and I said Guido Erschen, he did win last season. He didn't win from the back, granted, but he does do well from the back. So it may actually benefit him. I mean, particularly if we've got the safety cars and not necessarily VSCs, but if we've got things like that occurring, he's got ample opportunity to make his way back up the field, and we could indeed see a. I don't want to call it a surprise because Erschen's a very quick driver, but yeah, we may see something we don't necessarily expect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good for the stream when that happens. So fingers crossed we get some good action tonight. I'm sure we will. But another track where, depending on the weather conditions, safety cars can come in quite big numbers.
Mm-hmm. Paul Carey set 5 hot laps during that session.
Not bad. Working hard tonight then. So our Q1 then finishes. Boy Williamson in the top spot so far for Ferrari with his teammate Zanderherm behind him in P2. A little bit for McLaren is P3 with Nicky Visser for Toro Rosso in P4. Damien Hartman for Alfa Romeo is P5. Ray Deepervein for Haas is P6. Marcel joining for Red. Oh God, choking on my own, on my own there. Red Bull is P7. Don Donkel for Toro Rosso P8. And there were some other people down there as well, which I missed. Having a minor body fault there, mid rundown. Sorry about that, everybody. No, obviously Q2 being the session where the drivers choose their tyres to start on. What are your thoughts on the strategy for tonight then?
Well, they've got quite a few options open to them in terms of strategy, and obviously it's also going to depend on if they get through Q2 or not. If they do get through Q2, I mean, I would try to go through Q2 on the medium tyre to begin. But if they find themselves in any sort of danger, I would hop onto the soft to sort of push yourself through. Starting on the soft, you probably want to go onto the medium, and then a medium again. It's almost certainly going to be a 2-stop for most of the drivers. Mm-hmm. You can do a 1-stop, but it's not quick at all. It's something like 30 seconds overall slower than the 2-stop, which is more than a full pit stop anyway. So it makes absolutely no sense to even try it, but we may see it happen, and again the safety car can completely blow the strategies out of the window anyway. So it's certainly a viable option if that happens. Starting outside the top 10, almost certainly want to go onto the hard tyres. If the drivers have selected harder compounds, they'll be able to do that. If they haven't, it's not the end of the world, because they can start on a fresh medium tyre, and then probably get on another medium and then a soft to finish. Alternatively, they can do medium to hard or hard to medium, but it's, as I said, it's not a quick strategy because the hard tyre is so slow around this circuit.
So with the guys, obviously we've got sort of a fair split down the middle really of guys going on medium and soft tyres. With the soft tyre starters, do you think they'll be doing soft, medium, just the reverse of the guys on the medium, or do you think they'll do a different strategy?
Yeah, they're almost certainly going to be doing soft, medium, medium. And the ones that are starting on the medium will be doing medium, medium, soft, I imagine. I'm just going to have a look at the weather report. It was sent to me earlier on. It's something a bit strange, I believe. Just have another look at it unless I imagined it.
Board with Martin Party Cooper at the moment. He comes through 6 and 7. The Pont de la Concorde.
Very good. No, I was about to say muy bien, but that's Spanish.
Muy bien, sí.
It's très bien.
Not even going to try and speak French because I can't. Coming down to the hairpin. I think I did do quite a bit of reading on this track for this. Completely forgotten now. I've got time to stream.
Of course.
Time to be put on the time to be put on the stage, and I've forgotten everything. But I'm pretty sure, is this one of the only complete 180-degree turns in Formula 1?
Oh, that is a very good statistic there. I think it might be. I'll have to look into that. It's not something I've ever looked at before.
Sorry, Adrian. We've lost Boy Williamson or Zander. We've lost Zander Herman at all the champions.
Oh dear, we have. Quite right.
Same for him, but easily done. Hence the namesake of that corner. A lot of people have done it.
Oh, and
I think you might have hit the car.
Yeah, Deepvane's just got a 5-second penalty for colliding with Sander Herman's, I presume his crashed car then.
That's John Donkel and Baz Denbrayan out here as well. Just going to go on board with Damien Hartman because he's just going through this wreck here at the moment. You can't have safety cars in qualifying, of course, but hopefully these guys will be aware of what's going on around that area of the track. It's pretty dangerous for them at the moment. Full quarry coming through there as well. The cars look like they might have been cleared. There's still Baz Denbrayan's Alfa Romeo. There it goes. It's now been cleared. So that section of track now back to full speed, we hope. That was a bit chaotic there for a sec.
It was a bit. There may be some viewers wondering, oh, why don't we just turn ghosting on? We don't run with ghosting on. Ghosting is always off. As we try to recreate the authenticity of an actual Formula 1 Grand Prix. And obviously, if these chaotic things do happen in a real Grand Prix, it's down to the driver's skill to try to avoid it. So that's just another kind of element of that we like to maintain despite the increased risk.
Yeah, something which I personally quite like. I think it's nice having. It's nice knowing that. I think it's better knowing that the car will never disappear than hoping maybe it will with ghosting on. Because obviously, with ghosting on, it doesn't always disappear either, but it can do, and that can lead to more accidents than having the car just never ghost. Because you sometimes think, oh, it'll disappear. I'm just going to keep going.
That is a very good, very good point. Yeah. I hadn't actually thought of that myself.
Yeah, I think that ghosting off is actually a safer alternative and much more fun to drive as well because there is something to do if you see a car off track rather than just going, oh, he'll go. I'm just going to drive on through. Looking at some of the times though, Nicky, I can't go above P6 at the moment. That's weird. I'll go the other way then. P1, build of it, 1:09.8 at the moment. So we're seeing similar times, those soft times, but obviously you mentioned earlier on that those probably aren't the quickest that they're going to go today, so still a respectable time on the medium tyre there with a 1:09.8 or sealed of it. Obviously pretty good in qualifying, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. We always mention it. It's a bit of a qualifying specialist. Pole position last week, of course, in Monaco. Led the race for almost. Well, I think it was actually over half the Grand Prix.
Yeah, he was up there a long time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he would have. Really should have had that in the bag, so to speak. But certainly expect him to be on the front row here tonight.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Just going back to the weather report that I mentioned. The weather I've got as sunny for the first 45 minutes, then heavy rain.
Yep.
Followed by cloud.
Interesting. And do you know what time so it's 45 minutes after the start of the race we're looking at heavy rain, is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much the exact halfway point of the race, lap 35 or so.
Yeah, that's a tricky one to sort of be in for a driver, isn't it? Knowing that halfway I could be faced with heavy rain and a complete change of strategy. Do you make a different call based on that in qualifying. I think personally I wouldn't, just because as you see in this game, it can sort of be anywhere around that time. It's not always exactly halfway, is it? So
no, and that's the difficulty, isn't it? Because the medium tyre, for example, will do about 32 laps if you look after it. And there may be some drivers starting on the mediums thinking, oh, the rain's probably going to come a little bit earlier than what it's saying, which it might, or it might come a bit later than what it's saying.
Yeah.
In which case they're at a real risk if they do start on the medium tyres and expect it to rain on time, because it never rains on time. And in fact, even the ones starting on the hard tyre will do about 45 laps. It may not even come then. It can be really sort of quite drastically different to what it says or when it says things are going to happen.
I was going to say, I don't even think you could put a plus or minus X amount of laps on it. It could just be any time. I mean, it's in the forecast. It could come, in 10 laps from the start. You never really know. It just might come.
The strange thing is, if you set the weather and put the heavy rain in the middle and have 2 patches of dry on the other side, it is pretty much bang on in the middle. But with dynamic weather, it does it when kind of it wants to do it.
Yeah.
So there's no telling. Just going to be some point in the middle of the race somewhere.
All we know. But certainly tease us up for a pretty exciting Grand Prix this evening, I think.
As if it didn't already.
Absolutely. Yeah, indeed. Just on board with Boyd Williamson at the moment, who's about to start a hot lap here, I think. Nope, he's coming in the pits. Disregard. Who else have we got out there? Neil Ziekma at the moment. He's definitely on a cooldown lap. I'm not sure if it's an in lap or not, though. And Martin Party Cooper's out there. I think he's actually on... Yeah, he's on a hot lap at the moment. About 10th down at the minute. Comes round the pin.
Is that what you're going to be calling that, is it?
Yep, I'm not even going to try and do it in French. Le Pingo.
What did he say? The Pringle?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, and he comes round the Pringle. I think that's what we should call it tonight. Certainly is. It does definitely. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to try and say this, but in terms of what the corners are named after, that is the most hairpin-looking corner, most hairpin-looking hairpin
Yes.
on the calendar, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, Eddie did a much better job on Tuesday of doing these corners in French than I will do tonight.
He was brilliant on Tuesday. I watched the stream back yesterday. Yeah, his pronunciations were bang on.
I was going to say Droit du Casino. Apparently that's not correct. But it's Droit du Casino.
What?
Droit du Casino. I think Pont de la Concorde is the only one who kind of get right-ish. After that, it's just all downhill. So I'll stick with Barry Deepervein as he goes on his hot lap here. On through complex of 1 and 2. I think we touched on this corner a lot of times when going through other track overviews, because it's one of those ones where you need to be set up right for turn 1 to make turn 2 right for you. It's a 2-piece corner.
Yeah. It especially helps if you actually don't cut the second corner. You're better off getting as close as you can to the curb or the track limits on the left-hand side of 1, and just sort of keeping tight to the inside, but just make sure you don't ride up on that rumble strip, because it will not only unsettle the car, but it will just lose the traction at the back end on the exit, which is very, very important for your lap time.
Indeed, yeah. Just seeing Barry there, Deepervein come round the Pringle. And another corner on this track where having that rear end traction is so important, just to get a really good exit and try and break any toe you might have from somebody behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, and he goes P1, Sebastian, on the soft tyre there, a 106. Sorry, a 106. Wow, really flying. a 109.6 there for Mr. Deeper Vein. So very nice lap time from him.
Yeah, very good lap from the new hash drive, one of the two new hash drivers. That wasn't even his personal best. Well, it wasn't his personal best middle sector anyway. So he's got a bit more to give, which he'll be pleased to know come the third qualifying session.
Indeed, yeah. Got Nisha here, who comes round to go P6. Nisha Mahadwasing on the soft tyre as well, a 110.6 for McLaren. So that now puts Paul Quarre back down into the drop zone. He is on an outlap though on the soft tyre, so will probably go faster. It'll be a good. I think this could be a good race for the Haas boys because, of course, they're both new to the league. Barry joining us for Spain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But had a pretty poor race. I think it was raining, wasn't it? And just struggled from the get-go.
Yeah, that's right.
Sort of fell off the pace a bit, and I think he might have retired. He might have finished it actually. I can't remember, but I know obviously then we had Monaco up next, which was the first for Niels Eekma. So threw right into the deep end for him. Obviously, he showed some really good overtaking skills.
Yes.
So hopefully tonight we'll see these two really kind of come out of their shells and show their potential.
Yeah, he's got a bit more sort of room to breathe here and room to overtake. So yeah, it'd be good to see what he can do given the space.
Yeah, indeed. And I think even Barry was running P4 at one point in Monaco. So hopefully tonight we'll see him up the pointy end as well. On board with Paul Quarre now as he comes round turn 3 and 4. That's that infamous corner where we saw Vettel maybe force him wide. I'm not going to say anything. But that's what was deemed to be the fault. Very cool. All I know is thanks guys, best fans.
No comment.
All there invalidating his lap time, I think round turn 3. Be done. But if you do it just right, you can get on the grass and still keep a valid lap time. Quite a few little exploits, not necessarily glitchy exploits, but there are places where you can probably take more than you should be able to, within reason here, and get quite a lot of time.
Yeah, you find out quite a few circuits. There are lines that you wouldn't necessarily think you could take, that you actually can.
Yeah.
And similarly, there's lines that you think you should be able to take, and the game does still penalise you. So it swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, Mahadwasing's just gone straight on at turn 1 up the slip road.
That'll gain him a couple of seconds there.
Yep. I wonder if he was listening to us.
Yeah, maybe I can try this one.
No, he definitely wasn't.
Just looking at some of the comments here in Q2. Eddie is in there as always. Hello, sir. He's saying good luck to all NL drivers. Have a great race. First we got Hans Vanderberg is here. Good luck, guys. I think he's in.
Oh, Hans.
No, he's not. Of course, he left, didn't he, a while ago? So yeah, he's good to see him still watching. He's saying good luck. Thank you very much, sir. Ryan Lear. I was going to try. I just had it right in my mouth then. I completely forgot it. Our Instagram mastermind. There we go. That's what I'm thinking of. He does all our great Instagram now. 400 followers. He's done an absolutely awesome job on that. Watch those chicanes. They move and tell you you've cut the corner. They do indeed. I think we're going to see that a bit tonight. Of course.
Is that what they call dynamic track? Is that what it is?
A dynamic track. It just moves about, and you never know where it's going to be. Yeah, we did see quite a lot of penalties. UK guys, I think someone had about 44 seconds. And of course, not necessarily anything against their name, but it is just a track where it's quite easy to pick them up over 70 laps. So.
Well, not for me.
No, not for you, of course. You had no penalties, as Eddie said in the comments here. He's tagged here, said he didn't have any penalties on Tuesday.
It took me 50 laps to get even one warning.
Yeah, very nice. English driver in the league there, my Adrian.
I just put me Eddie Forever sunglasses on and
Indeed.
bask.
So Q10, very deep vein lead way in P1.
Yeah, that was.
Field of it, P. Boyd Williamson for Ferrari is P. Kibisa also P4. Jamie Hartman, Ishay Mahad we're seeing, Martin Parley Cooper, Mark Stappers, Marcel Droning, and Niels Ekmer are the top 10. Paul Quarret, John Doncourt, Baz Den Brain, and Zander Hermans all in the drop zone. All the M's in a row there from 7 to 9. Martin, Mark,
that's quite satisfying. Just going back to Ryan Leo, you said he is the Instagram mastermind, now up to 400 followers. That is also largely in part to our kind of resident photographer who is president in this race. Well, he's present from a spectator point of view. He is just watching the race, taking photos, and will be uploading them again to our. Well, he'll be passing them on to Ryan to upload. To our Instagram account, so that tends to happen pretty quickly as well, almost immediately after the race. So yeah, expect to
very efficient.
See quite a few good ones, and the ones he's taken so far are absolutely amazing. They're kind of single player pausing the game and zooming into the car type of shots. So they're really fantastic.
Yeah, the quality really is smashing. I don't know how he does it. I need to ask him because it's it's quite it really is quite impressive how he gets such realistic shots from a spectator standpoint. I mean, it's hard to kind of home button and screenshot a race when it's going live in front of you, but he seems to do a great job of it. So yeah, great to have him on with us. That's Jonah, of course. Who we're talking about. I can't remember his surname, but there we go. Jonah.
I don't think it's even known to us. I think he just goes
perfect.
by
There
Jonah.
We go. That's all we need to say then. Great. So of course all the drivers coming back out on track now on the soft tyre compound. Seeing those lap times really tumble now, we think. Of course, it's that time of day, Adrian, where I need to ask you the big question: will you marry me?
I knew you were going to say that.
Did you say you knew I was going to say that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah. So I'd already prepared my answer. Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic, great. Thank you very much. No, of course the question is, who do you think is our pole man tonight?
Pole position tonight, I think, is going to be. It could be anybody. I'm going to go with Damien Hartman.
Oh, very good. I'm going to choose Sildavit for pole position. But yeah, like you say, it's because obviously we've had two different kind of top end runners in Q1 and Q2. Obviously with some big names having been taken out in that little snafu round the Wall of Champions in Q2. We haven't really seen anyone be consistently quick tonight. So it's kind of all to play for here in Q3. But yeah, my money's on Sil for a pole position. His teammate, though, Nisha Mahadwasing, will be first to start his lap.
Speaking of teammates, Damien Hartman's teammate, Baz Den Brain, has not made it through Q3 for the first time in at least a full season. I'll have to have a look back through previous streams. But yeah, he's always in the third qualifying session.
Yeah, obviously this doesn't come at a good time for him because obviously last race was one of his worst. I think we could collectively agree. But like we said, we're hoping he was just getting that all out of the way for the next 7 seasons. So we'll see. I'm sure he'll do fine tonight. I don't know what his drive was like here last season. Or you will.
Yeah, it was very, very good. In fact, both he and Guido, his teammate at the time. Oh, sorry, and Deeper Veins crashed at the Wall of Champions. Okay. I was just riding with him at the time there.
Nicky Vista there coming through the wreck there. Excuse me. Tried to mute my mic there before I sneeze, but I missed it. Yeah, his car's still on track there, so hopefully we don't get any other sort of bit coming through now. He misses car.
He's almost done a Grosjean there, don't you remember from last season?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Fortunately, didn't cause his teammate to also nearly crash.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously that's the main thing. So Nicky Visser then, P1 for the moment on a 109.7. Nils Ekma, a 110.9 behind him, and Martin Party Cooper, 111 dead so far. I think those guys are a bit hindered by the very deeper vein crash there, so we'll see their times come down a bit.
Boy Williamson on a very fast lap at the moment. Expect him to go top by some margin.
See how he gets on as he comes down the casino straight.
Good time from
into the pits.
Damie Hart. Oh, that's odd.
And there you go, Damie Hartman 195.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Nice.
Damie Hartman.
Goes P1.
Droning on a hot lap as well. Not blistering pace this one. This is going to be, I think it's going to be under 111, so it'll be top 4. I don't think it's going to be much quicker than that.
See how he gets on.
Oh, is he? No,
He is running ERS mode 4, so I think he's still going.
Yeah, no, I thought he invalidated
okay.
it. Was Mardrasing.
Under 112 dead for him. Quite a lot of time to find for a couple of drivers here. Still DeVitt as well, another one, 113.5 for him, but he's 1.7 seconds up after sector 1 at the moment. And 3.3 after sector 2, so really flying here. Obviously that first lap I think might have been oh, don't lose the back end. Oh, all over the place. Very slippery tail of still DeVitt there, hopefully not lost too much time. Probably half a second. Oh, he's given up. Fair enough. Interesting, we're seeing a lot of drivers do pretty quick times and then kind of give up at the last minute. You would have thought they'd just get the lap in anyway, just to bank it. Especially Boy, who hasn't even set a time yet. But he is on an outlap now.
Yeah, he's still, even though he's not set a lap, he's still got the fastest first sector.
Michelle Harrison goes P3 there, 110.1. It's a good time from him, only 4 tenths off Nicky Visser in P2.
Boy's theoretical time would have been about 3 tenths off of the current pole time, so it would have been a 9.8 had he not come in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's worth saying because you never know what's going to happen later on if you have any issues. I think Mark Stapper's just cut the final chicane there, so he invalidates this lap. Stick on board with Boy Williamson as he comes start his hot lap here around the centre S. Looks a little bit less like an S nowadays with the pit lane exit now coming onto turn 2, but certainly from above you can still see that S shape in there.
It's such a peculiar exit as well to drive, particularly with a wheel with force feedback, because it's so smooth. You don't quite realise that you're, you don't feel the road really until you're completely out of the pit lane. It's very bizarre. Yeah,
you're right. You don't really get that kind of reaction to the car until you actually get on the track where it's all bumpy again.
No. Boy Purple again in the first sector, only a tenth or so off in the middle.
Okay. So this third sector all to play for then. See if he can snatch pole. Got a bit of a toe there from Mark Stappers. Down the casino straight. Into 13 and 14. Nicely taken. Across the line. 109.618. About a tenth off of Damien Hartman there ahead of him, so very close.
Yeah, Damien was purple in the final sector. Silver Wit should be coming to start his hot lap now. He's actually still got the fastest middle sector.
See what he can do. Of course, my money's on him for pole. At the moment, you're taking home the drinks at the minute. Damien Hartman's still on pole. Actually on an outlap at the moment as well, isn't he, Damie? See,
yes.
He can improve.
Oh, it's a new purple from Still. Only a smidge quicker though, but it's still fastest.
Still enough. Come on. P1, P1.
$21.8 to beat in the middle. It's a 21.7. It's purple again.
Round the Pringle he goes. To the casino straight. Martin Cooper staying well out of his way. As is the exemplary etiquette of the guys in this league. And then down to 13 and 14. Can almost.
Oh, Nicky's just gone top with a 9-2. But Still's coming across the line.
What's he gonna do? Oh, a 9-1-2-9. 700ths in it between those two boys at the top. That is mighty close. Got Damien Hartman 2/10 up at the moment.
Yep, he's purple in the first.
Oh, this could be really close.
His middle sector is slower than his own best, though. He's about a 10th.5 down on Still in the middle, but a 10th up in the first.
Hammer this sector here. 13 and 14. Well, that looked like a nice turn 13 there. Oh, what's he going to do? It's going to be close. Or 9-4-1-2. Yeah, it certainly was. So one more cooldown lap and then another hot lap if they can manage it. Got the fuel in the car for it.
Yeah, it should be alright.
Lucky Vista here is unwinding for, I think, one final shot.
Droning's on a hot lap now. This is an improvement for him. He's currently P6.
See what he can do. Yeah, a 10th. Obviously up 2/10 up at the minute. Needs about 4 and a bit. Oh, Martin Cooper's tried Wall of Champions. This could mess up some of the... as Mark Stapper's just clips him. He's really put that in the bad places. Well, I say he's put it there. It's just an unfortunate place where his car's come to rest there for Martin.
Well, Droning's coming around there
right
now.
On the racing line.
Oh, yeah, it's ruined his lap. Ruined Droning's lap there.
Yeah. 7/10 that cost him. Wow. That's really unfortunate for Marcel.
Had at least 3 casualties now in the Wall of Champions already. We haven't even started the race.
No. Yeah, so hopefully they're just getting that all out of the way now for the race. Damien Hartman starts his final hot lap here with 30 seconds remaining. Ludovic's come into the pit. He's either was out of fuel or was confident in his lap time. I think probably the former. Knowing that he's only 700ths ahead of Nicky, but he has pitted. Very close to his. Is Damie still the fastest in sector 1?
Yes.
He's only 800ths off that time just there. See if he can find some more. To come round casino corner there. Oh, he's found a 10.
Purple. It's purple in the middle.
Yeah. Could be close.
His first sector wasn't his best first sector, but it's still better than anybody else.
Oh, very good. Here we go then. Nice. Nicely taken Wall of Champions there. Oh! Wow! Wow. That's quite an impressive. 3 drivers there with a 109.1 separated by a couple of hundred. Oof.
We've done well in our choices, haven't we?
Yeah, 1-2. I'll take that. Wow, there we go then. Sildovitz and Damien Hartman on the front row of the grid tonight.
Yeah, great times from them already, those top 3 especially.
Yeah. Yeah, really good.
I feel like the biggest loser of all that was actually Droning. He was on a much improved lap. He may have even been, he wouldn't have been up to the 9-1s, but he was certainly on the 9-6 mark. He could have possibly got P4, if not for Stapper's crash.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. It's a real shame that he got caught out there by that. But our Q3 finishes then. Sildovitz is pole position. He's P1. for the Canadian Grand Prix in the McLaren. Damien Hartman for Alfa Romeo is P2. Nicky Vessa for Toro Rosso P3 with Boy Williamson in the Ferrari P4. Nisha Haldersing in the other McLaren is P5 with Marcel Droning in the Red Bull P6. Niels Eekema for Haas is P7. Martin Parder Cooper for Williams P8. And then two drivers here unfortunately didn't get a set of time. Brady Pavane, who retired, as well as Mark Stappers, who also retired. Did Mark Stappers crash out, did he?
He did, yeah. It was his car parked across the track.
Ah, that'll be it. A couple of minutes for the drivers to prepare themselves for the 70 laps they got coming up ahead. At the same time, I'll take this opportunity just to quickly prepare myself for this race. It will be, if Adrian, if you're there, mate, I'll leave you to it for a couple of minutes, but I won't be too long. I'll be right back for the race.
That's not a problem. Just a 5-minute break for the drivers between the end of Q3 and the start of the race. It's kind of the it's become mandatory over the last season or so. They used to just have an informal 2-minute break before that, but they've adopted the F1 Tonight UK procedure. Just gives the drivers a chance to stretch their legs a little bit, use the loo, get a drink, and importantly, sort out their race strategies, fuel loads, and things like that. Can't do very much with the setup because Parc Ferme rules are in force. So the only things they can change now are the front wing angle and the tyre pressures. That is it. Oh, and the on throttle differential as well. You can actually adjust that. But other than that, can't do anything else. Can't touch the suspension. Curious to see where Guido Urshan actually finishes in this race. How his first half of the race goes in particular. I know what I would be doing in that position, and that is absolutely just taking it easy at the back, letting the race unfold a little bit ahead of myself or himself for the first half, especially until the rain comes. Probably expect a safety car around then, and then that's when you sort of start to push. I think that would be the optimal strategy from that position. Other drivers may argue that point. Some do like to try and get as many places as they can early on to make the race a bit easier later on, but that never works for me, so I I try not to do that. Basden Brian as well, he's another one starting low down, but certainly capable of winning Grand Prix. Won many Grand Prix in the past. This one included, not last season, but the season before.
And I have returned.
And welcome back then. I was just
Thanks very much. And you weren't muted this time, so everyone could hear your dulcet tones.
Oh, thank you very much. I wasn't just talking to myself. That's good.
No.
Still felt like it, but
Yeah, some element of that, isn't there, when you're here on your own? But I don't know about you, but I talk to myself quite a lot actually when I'm alone, so I find this quite easy.
Yes, so do I.
So, man for the win. Who's your money on?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Boy Williamson. Boy Williamson's going to win this race.
Yeah. My money is on Basden Braham.
Really?
That's ballsy, isn't it?
Yeah. No, well, it would be if it was anybody else.
Yeah. No, I think it's Baz. Got a bit of a Dan tingle going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel it as well. Yeah, I think the fact that we've got rain halfway through the race that's going to sort of muck up everybody's strategy calls. I think that's the kind of event that where Baz normally comes up top trumps, because he's already 4 or 5 steps ahead of everybody else in terms of what their plans are.
Yeah. When it from that far down, it's probably going to be Baz.
Yeah.
So the beauty of obviously kind of the positive side of people crashing out in qualifying is we get a lot of quick guys start from the back. as you can see, Zander Hermans, John Donkel, Guido Ocean obviously right at the very back. Miguel Torney right down the back as well. You've got plenty of drivers that can mix things up as we go through the opening laps here tonight. We're running through the driver order as they go on their parade lap. Villeneuve leads the way in P1. Damien Hartman for Alfa Romeo is P2. Nicky Visser for Toro Rosso, P3. Boy Williamson in the Ferrari is P4. And Nisha Bahadur, great qualifying from him tonight, of course. He is P5. Find his name tag, there we go. Nisha Bahadur, P5. Then Marcel Droning is P6 in the Red Bull. Il Ziekma, again, good qualifying from him in the Haas, P7. Martin Party Cooper in the Williams is P8. Then we've got Mark Stappers in the Renault, P9. Paul Quarret in the Mercedes is P10. John Donkel in the Toro Rosso, P11. Then Baz Den Breyen is P12 in the Alfa Romeo. With Zander Hermans in the Ferrari, P13. Very deep vein in the Haas is P14. With Ari Kopp in the Williams, P15. And the second Mercedes, Miguel Torney, P16. And bringing up the rear for tonight, Guido Ocean in the Red Bull, P17.
Just before the race starts, Dan, I just want to point out, Sildavit, the only one running under-fueled.
There we go, he's doing an Adrian. Could this bode well? Could it be disaster? Find out after the break. So the drivers lined up on the grid. Here come the lights. 5 lights, and they're out, and we're off. As Sildavit leads away. Damien Hartman, though, isn't being a slouch. He's right up alongside the McLaren into turn 1. Sildavit, though, controls that position, keeps P1 there. Nicky Visser and Boyd Williamson also slot into their roles behind them. Further back, everyone has got through turn 1 and 2 fairly clean there. Not many positions gained or lost. Baz Den Breyen, though, already starting to make up places, or has got a place back. I think Ari Kopp might have been threatening there for a little bit. As Ari, I think, is up from P15 up to P13 already, so good start from him.
Paul Correa's looking very slow, just in those first few turns. He's already lost 5 positions. Don't quite know what's up with his car.
Yeah, he's let Guido Ocean by there as well. I think he's missing a left end plate that I can see for sure. Oh no, he's got a red left front wing, that's why. He's missing a lot of that.
Sorry, Damien Hartman's taking the lead at the hairpin.
Ooh.
Still a bit down to 3, actually.
Yeah, Nicky Visser now getting alongside him and making the move. This could be the under-fueling, perhaps. He's saving already, could be coming into play early on here.
Yeah, never a good idea to save in the first few laps. You've got to really sort of push, especially if you are at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. But all the drivers, though, we got Boyd Williamson there also passing Sildavit into 1. Still on the inside for 2. But Boyd just gets the better run around the outside there and takes P3.
No damage on the McLaren. I don't quite know what the issue is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe... I don't know if he is saving so early on, but like you say, it's not the best thing to do on the opening lap. As we can see there, if that is what he's doing, that's why he's lost 3 places already so far. Just look at the position change though. It's pretty easy so far to see who's gone where. John Donkel up 1 place, Zander Herman up 2 in the Ferrari. Ahead of Baz Den Breyen, still in his starting place. at the minute. Already copped up 2 places after Paul Corre's sort of tricky start there, down 7 places already for Paul, but he's got a new front wing, so hopefully he'll be back with us soon. Obviously getting damaged so early on like that in a race where we could see rain come all of the mid sections, not great for him, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky place for the rain to actually come. Sometimes if it does come really early, you can get away with having some damage early on because it doesn't affect you at all.
Thing is, he put on. Oh no, he's put on a soft tyre as well, so that's really going to hinder him. I was going to say, if he put on the hard tyre and the rain comes later than we thought, it could have worked in his favour.
Yeah, I probably would have gone for the hard tyre, personally.
Yeah. I think I would have done too. Definitely not the soft though. I'm not quite sure if that was a suggestion from Jeff or if he chose that. But yeah, interesting tyre choice there for Paul.
While we don't want to sort of lose sight of the leaders, there's a battle developing for P7, 3 cars in it, and it was Ikema, Martin Parder-Cooper and Mark Stappers. John Donkel close behind as well,
Indeed,
part of that little train.
Oh, as Mark Stappers there goes for the dive up the inside into the Pringle. And he takes P8 from the Williams driver. Nice move there from Stappers.
Aggressive but fair, I think, is
John Donkel's also sneaking along the outside. Oh, a little bit of tyre bumping there. Yeah, it gives the place though to Martin. It's never an easy place or even possible to pass around the outside of 13, so good call there. Lives to fight another lap. Sealed of it though, now back within or was within reach of Boyd Williamson, only a couple of tenths off now, but drops back a tad here through 6 and 7.
Boyd's gone purple in the third sector, in the first sector. Currently P3.
Sebastian Brayan's come into the pit. Perhaps for a wing change, not quite sure on that, but comes back out on fresh mediums.
Okay.
Peter Welsh, not too far off the back of Miguel Tawney here in P15. That hairpin's so deceiving in terms of how difficult it really is to do.
Yeah. And how important the exit of it is, and how much time you can actually lose by not getting the optimal exit.
Oh, sorry, Zander Hermans there hits the back of John Donkel's car as he goes. It looked like he might have been going for a move, but kind of double guessed himself there and has made contact with the Toro Rosso. Lost some end plate, not too bad. The damage on the Ferrari, I don't think.
That's not really what he wants, and that's both drivers on the hard tyre there. It's worth noting that the only 2 on the hard tyres.
Yeah, that's not what you want for that kind of strategy. Oh, Cop getting really close to that wall there, doing a bit of a Monaco.
Sander Hermans just went off track on the grass on the left hand side. That little tiny patch of grass, just coming into turn 8.
Well, that's never going to help your braking zone, is it? Getting the tyres all dirty before the brakes. Nicky Visser there, I think it's probably the first penalty we've seen tonight. He's right on the back of Damien Hartman now, 3 tenths between those two.
That's the first penalty. You've only done 3 laps. 3 laps, 5 laps.
Yeah, this is a real 4-way battle here for, well, it's sort of 2 battles really. P3 and P1 under contention here. Sildervit still in this, which is good to see. So hopefully he's figured out that issue or has started not saving fuel. Either way, good stuff to see him back in the fight. There's too much going on, Adrian. I can't cope.
There are a lot of a lot of little battles, especially in these first few laps, as you'd expect.
Indeed.
Oh, Seals almost lost it out of turn 9.
Oh God.
He caught it very, very well. Very, very well. I don't know how he managed to control that. That was Verstappen-esque, that was.
Yeah, good stuff. Something I haven't really touched on yet is the number of corners here that can really unsettle the car.
Yep.
There are a few of them. 6 and 7. 6 and 7. And 8 and 9, really. That kind of double chicane separate that DRS straight. They're both kind of corners there that can really throw the car out of balance.
Yeah, exit of 9 is where I normally lose it in my sort of career races and things. It's either there or the exit of the hairpin.
Yeah. Yeah, both easy to lose grip and traction.
John Donker's finally made it past Parda Cooper.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Did that into turn 1.
Just watching Sil and Niche come through the Wall of Champions there. Both drivers losing that back end slightly, so maybe they're using the same setup tonight.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Lots of the teams do actually share the setups. They do lots of practice together and develop their setups together.
Nicky's still keeping with Damie. This is a real test of how Damie can withstand the pressure here.
Again,
certainly
this is
a lot of it.
And this is season 5 champion, followed by the season 6 champion, followed by the current championship leader.
Yeah. Yeah, at least they've all had, or say the front two have had that experience of being a champion. Boy Williams certainly teed up well to feel that experience at some point this year, but yeah, it's not quite like the other. What was it last week when we had, I think, about 4 champions behind somebody. I think behind Sil maybe at some point, all kind of trying to give him a run for his money. Yeah, certainly a different kind of pressure for Damie now though, with Nicky behind him. These two fighting a lot last season as well, so they know each other's company well.
The Eagle Eye viewers would have just spotted a yellow flag shown there in Sector 3. That was for Guido Urshan, just losing it at the Wall of Champions. I don't think he suffered any damage. He went off straight on, really, at the little sort of runoff area just next to the pit entrance.
Right.
But it seems to have recovered.
Good stuff. It's good to see Zander Herman back in the mix as well, especially after pitting early doors.
Sorry, P1 Damie is about to pass Nicky. Almost.
Or Nicky the other way round.
Oh yeah, Nicky the other way around. Yeah, sorry. Too slow.
Nicky with the DRS. So we showed that on the track overview earlier on tonight. The DRS zone is much bigger than it looks in effect, because you get it sort of on 2 parts of the track for the price of 1 detection point. So it really is invaluable to get that DRS for the casino straight, so you can get it as well down the start finish as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting point there. Yeah, 3 DRS zones, but only 2 detection points.
Yeah. Something, I'll be honest, I didn't really know was there until I did the track map for this race. So learn something new every day.
Urshan in the pit this time.
Kemp comes in for, looks like some new hard tyres. Nicky really kind of took the lead and is running with it now though. Wants to open up a second already. Sort of it's still there though. With Boy Williamson, which is good. We'll see what Marcel Joning can do here. He's on the back of Niche Mahadwasing in the McLaren. He's got up the inside. Down to the chicane. 13 and 14 makes the move stick before 13, which is always nice as an overtaking driver, because it is very hard to overtake through 13 and 14. Oh, everyone's so close in this kind of midfield battle here. Niels Ekman starting to pull out from Mark Stappers, which we'll be happy with there, so he can maintain P7 for a while longer. But John Donkel not letting up on the Renault.
Top 4 also still within 2 seconds of each
yeah.
other.
So, lap 10. that nice part now where, as commentators, we can kind of take a bit of a seat back and breathe as everyone starts to get about a second apart. At least that would normally be the case, but in this race, everyone's really going at it, all guns blazing the whole way through. So,
oh, boy Williamson with a penalty just picked that up at the World of Champions there. That final chicane, as I said, very easy to pick up a warning there.
Yeah, absolutely. Really hounding Damien Hartman there in the Alfa Romeo at the moment. Sildervit is still in the fight.
Yeah,
Haddelsing really close to Marcel Dwelling. Sorry, Adrian.
That's right, no problem. Still is doing exactly the right thing at the moment. What he's doing is, if you look at his ERS, he's got a completely full ERS. He's not pushing, he's just using the DRS to maintain the gap to the car in front, and that way he can save the energy in the car. Oh, he's nearly lost out of 9 again.
Again. God, he's testing his drifting skills tonight.
Yeah. So just as I was talking about him saying that he was saving the tyres and the engine, he's just slid it around 9. You might have to use a little bit of VRS just to catch up and keep himself within the DRS zone.
Yeah, still mode 2 at the minute. Yeah, quite right. You're pointing out there. It's nice when you're following someone that closely, because it is such a kind of helping hand to save your ERS for a couple of laps.
Mm.
Oh, Nishem Haddelsing got a great run out of 14 there. All the champions onto the back of Marcel Droning. Going to get up the inside here into turn 1. Marcel still got the inside of turn 2 though. Oh, lovely stuff though. Nishe brings it around the outside, takes P5. But Marcel's still here into turn 4. Oh, sorry, turn 3, then through 4. Nishe took to the grass a bit there. Where's Oh, there he is. Oh. I don't know what's going on now. They both letting each other through, or anyway, Nishe takes the place there. Takes P5 on the Red Bull and Marcel Droning. Great little fight between those two there for the first couple of corners.
Yeah, just further back, Niels Ekman has come into the pit for medium for hard tyres. I think that was scheduled. I think he started on the soft.
Yeah.
No, sorry. He started on the medium. Yeah, he started on the medium.
Yeah, Barry Deeperbane's still out there on the soft tyres at the moment. Same as Mark Stappers and Nishem Hadwasing. Well, I think they've actually all pitted by the looks of it, because they're only 11 laps old, so... Heck. Stops. No, they haven't. How have they managed that? They're on lap 13, they're only 11 laps old.
No, yeah, they've completed
the
11.
Sorry. We'll see 12 laps come up shortly here. John Donkle crosses the line. There we go.
Yeah. Boy Williamson still just within a quarter of a second of Damie. I think he's going for the overtake. Actually, he's in overtake mode.
Well, yeah, there you go. And on through goes the Ferrari.
I think he's going to fight back though.
Yeah, he's got the hairpin coming up, which is a good place to and take that place back.
Now, this is actually playing into Steele's hands, because while they're using up their ERS to have this battle, this change of position, Steele has still got full ERS.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to sort of pick up the scraps.
Oh, Damie coming back. Thought about it. Oh, as he clips the World of Champions, I'm not sure if he knocked off an end plate.
I'd be surprised if he didn't. I didn't actually see anything fly off.
Yeah, it's missing. So that's his right end plate gone now.
Yeah, that was caused really by it was a sudden change or sudden switch of lanes back to the racing line, which just added a couple of degrees to his tyre temperatures, which probably it caused a lack of grip and forced him to slide into that wall.
Yeah. A very nice analogy there for you.
So one thing Formula 1 cars really don't like is sudden jerky movements.
Yeah, as shown there with Damie. Still a bit though, right on the back of him. Bit on the grass there on the entry, but nice hairpin and exit. That's from DRS here. I don't think Damie's going to have it. No, he's not. So, will Sil take the place?
Yep.
Yeah, nice and easy.
It's a really controlled drive so far from Sil, despite that first lap. Yeah, he's it's sort of Denbrian-esque.
Yeah, he's already pulled out a second on him. Great exit through turn 14 there. Gives him some breathing space, can get back to saving that ARS and focus on Boyd Williamson ahead now.
That's it. So he's just waiting for the driver in front to run out of VRS, then he'll pounce on them and take their position with ease. And that's
preying on all the drivers in front of him.
That's exactly the right way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice stuff so far. Zander Herman though just passed Mark Stappers into turn 1. Takes P6. This is good for Ferrari because they really need a good double finish from both drivers. Although they are leading the championship at the moment, it's not much in it between them and Alfa Romeo.
No, it's really not.
This will be good for them at the moment. Obviously with Baz still down in P13.
Oh, Damien Hartman now with the 3-second penalty. So that's Boy Williamson, Nicky Visser, and Damien Hartman all with penalties. Still has none. There's a big cut there from Mark Stappers on the final corner. I think he would have certainly got a warning for that.
Yeah, you would have thought so, wouldn't you? That was
It is really difficult to avoid cutting that corner.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly believe that drivers do not ever cut corners to try and save time. They just do it not subconsciously, but inadvertently during the course of a race as the tyres wear down and they push harder and harder to make up positions. They're just pushing the car a bit too hard. And again, Stappers there, turn 9 that was. I think that's another warning there. And Boy Williamson, another 3-second penalty.
Yeah, something racking them up now, aren't they, early doors? Oh, as John Donkel passes... Oh, Mark Stappers takes it back, though, and Ari Kopp's right in this fight here for P7 as well.
Boy Williamson leading the race again, though.
Where did he come from?
Overtook Nicky Visser with another penalty. Turn 4.
Yeah, it was just behind Nicky, wasn't he? Really reeled him in quickly there, and has already pulled out that second.
That was on the exit of the final corner, DRS zone into 1.
Yeah, it's probably the best place to do it if you can get a good gap on the person you're passing. That very last corner. Tom Donko making moves, so the Toro Rosso is looking good here. P2, P7 at the moment. Nils Ekma has passed Nisha Mahad in the pits there as the McLaren driver stops for fresh softs, it looks like. Tawny also getting through as well as Guido Ocean. Just bringing Paul Quarry back into it a bit now though. Although soft tyres really going to be getting, I don't know how many laps can they do? About 20 laps? What, 25?
No, the soft tyres will do 20 at the most.
Yeah, so although Paul's sort of getting back in the race a bit now, he's going to fall back out of it. About 5 or 6 laps. John Donko now building on that gap. Mark Stappers, I'm not sure if he wanted to pit there actually. Looked like he was kind of double guessed himself and decided, oh, I'll just pit now. 16 lap old softs, so probably a good time to do it. Another set of softs go on. I think he's hoping for the rain to come soon.
Baz Denbrian with a penalty as well now. interesting statistic for you. We are not even 18 laps gone in this race. 78 warnings have been issued so far.
78. Not bad. That's all from one driver.
Just goes to show how difficult it really, really is to avoid those warnings, no matter how hard you try.
Yeah.
I'm just bigging myself up here because again, I got no penalties to this race. Just in case people didn't quite get that.
0 penalties. Amazing.
I got two warnings. One warning on 50 and one warning on lap 60.
Sounding driver of the day, of course, as well.
It was indeed 2 in a row of those.
Yep. The Adrian show. Starts at 9.
I don't know if you noticed, Dan. It's become very, very overcast.
Yeah, it has very quickly, hasn't it? I wonder if Mark Stappers is. I would call off tyres again. Well for him. Someone's another Alfa Romeo's end plate. Baz Brain's lost some end plate there again. The left side though, interestingly, so I'm not sure if he made contact with Barry Deepervein before turn 13 or 14.
I think Nicky's looking to make the pass on Boy out of the chicane. Yeah, he's low on the RS, so he's going to need to save it a bit.
Yeah, both struggling though, aren't they? Both the Ferrari and the Toro Rosso hit for ERS.
Yeah. The McLaren behind isn't.
Sort of it's starting to drop back a bit now, but still within their reach. And this is still obviously going to team up well for a fight in the rain when it comes.
In terms of the available energy in the engine of each car at the moment, or each driver's car, the two McLarens, Sildavit and Mahadra Singh, have the most. So I wonder if they are both actually operating on the same kind of strategy.
Yeah, very possibly. I don't know if I'm trying to see rain early. No, I've just seen it. There's the flash. And here it comes.
A telltale flash that they've kept since I think it was F1 16.
Yep,
and that was introduced.
And let's just see now then how heavy this, or how quickly it becomes heavy rain. Once we start to see.
Oh, sorry, Mark Stappers has crashed into the back of Deepervein, turn 3.
Dear. Beekman's there as well, so those two fast runners running pretty close at the minute. Only an end plate for Stappers though, which is sort of better than what it could be.
Paul Correa already on the. Sorry, did you say that already? Paul Correa on the Inters.
Nope, I did not. There he goes. So first man, I think he's got to do it there, hasn't he? Really?
Yeah.
He's just
Dronig as well. Dronig as well has come in.
Oh,
this might be a bit too early for him, but he's going for it.
I'm certainly, you kind of know once that spray starts to come off around the tyres, they really start shifting water off the track. They're not yet. Who knows? Yeah, as Paul gets passed by Zander Hermans there, not going so well for the Inter runner at the moment.
Oh dear, and that was terrible from Deepervein just into the final turn. He was kind of it looked like he was half throttle coming down that long straight, that back straight. It looked like he was about to come into the pit and then changed his mind at the last minute and sort of took a really awkward angle into the World of Champions and almost had to stop.
Certainly seeing the drivers take some more cautious lines here. The rain is really coming down now.
Miguel Torney was hoping that it was going to stop because he's just come out on a set of soft, medium tyres.
Jamie Hartman first, kind of the front runners here to pit. Onto the Inters, of course. Serving a 5-second penalty maybe there. The new front wing goes on. Sondogl also in the pits. Nicky Visser looking to take advantage of this kind of intermediate condition and maybe see if he can pull off a move on Boy Williamson before the pits here. He's certainly right on the back of the Ferrari.
Right, 16 fours are what the dry runners are still setting in these.
Sorry, Boy Williamson goes way deep there. Still de Wit even gets through, so that's him down to P3 from leading the race. Really ran deep there into the hairpin. Sorry to interrupt the Adrian.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, disabled.
Yeah, I was just saying 16 fours were the times being set by the dry runners. All three of the front runners into the pit now.
Yeah, Boy Williamson also looking to almost looking to make a move there before the pit entry, but maybe just saying, "Hey, Sil, I'm still here, mate."
Can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was going to be done though in that instance. So Boy Williamson is out. I think he's going to jump Sil de Wit here. Yeah, he has. So the order is resumed with Nicky leading the way now.
Sander Herman's still out on track. His last lap was a 20.7, so yeah, really eating away at his lap times now. He's about to come in.
Yeah, certainly. Just looking at he's probably going to come out, what, P8? Maybe P9?
Yeah, 8.
So, I mean, all things considered, given that early stop, he's not looking too bad at the moment.
No.
Although a wing change is certainly going to slow him down a bit here.
Ari Kopp, the last of the dry runners to come in.
I do wonder though. You notice the teams always have the front wing of the car out, just ready for it to put it on. Whose number do they choose? Are they just thinking, I wonder which one of the boys is going to crash first? Let's get his wing ready.
If you notice, Dan, the wing that they have there doesn't actually have a number on it until they put it on the car. Yeah.
Well done, Codemasters. They done something right then, didn't they? Sort of it certainly looking the least comfortable of these front runners at the moment on the Inters. I wonder how soon, if at all, it will become full wet though.
Well, allegedly it will become full wet because we definitely had the heavy rain symbol, the 3 rain drops. I mean, it could take anything between 2 laps to 10 laps for that to happen. Yeah. Yeah, and Sealed of it certainly not enjoying this as much as it was when it was dry. Oh, that back end really unstable on that McLaren. Obviously, with the drivers knowing what the weather would be like. Oh, sorry, still gets a 3-second penalty there through 3 and 4. Yeah, obviously with the drivers knowing what the weather was going to be for the race, do you think anyone opted for a wet setup? Or kind of an intermediate stage setup, between wet and dry? Yeah, I think there would have been a few drivers, certainly, that would have thought about the rain when they were making their setups. Whether they actually went for a dedicated wet setup is debatable. I think they probably would have just tweaked the front and rear wings by 1 or 2 notches. Yeah, I think that would be about the gist of it. Guido Urshan really struggling with that final turn. Again, that's another 3-second time penalty. He just can't get that right, whether it's in the dry or in the wet. Yeah, certainly probably the easiest corner to get that penalty on this track. You're struggling with it like Guido is. I have heard from some of the UK drivers that the penalty system or warning system is a bit more lenient in when it starts raining than what it is in the dry. Okay. We're still seeing plenty of penalties and warnings being dished out though. Yeah, something that says something, doesn't it, about how kind of difficult this track is to avoid cutting the corners, especially if it's being lenient on you anyway. Mm. Guido Urshan though breaks that toe from Nishay Mahadra Singh, sort of pulls out. Bit of a gap here, 1.3 seconds between those two now. Boy Williamson though still well within Nicky Visser. Still a bit really struggling though at the moment, 3 seconds now behind those front two. Oh, Boyd nearly went into the back of his former teammate. Yeah, Boyd really struggling around the hairpin since it started raining. Keeps running deep. I think of all the tracks to drive in the wet though, probably Canada's one of my favourite. Yes, yeah, I do agree there. Quite like Austria in the wet as well, which is in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. Yeah, another fun one. Yeah, there are a few, but there aren't many that I like driving around in the rain.
No.
So they're moving aside under blue flag.
Sill's come in. Sorry, Sill's come in.
Oh, he's had to do a front wing change by the looks of it.
It's Inters again.
Yeah, nothing strategic, I don't think, in that instance. I think that was... he knocked the front wing on something. That's unfortunate, but still looks like he might retain P3. Let's see if Damien Hartman takes it from him. Nope, still a bit. Still comes out P3.
So John Donkel in P5, he was 33 seconds behind the car in front. He's now just 8 seconds behind the car in front.
Yeah. Yeah, if we look at the position changes, he's made 6 places up from the start of this Grand Prix tonight. Lana Herman's the same, as well as Ari Kopp's up 7 places. Good stuff from him. On the penalty there for Zander Herman. Ferrari. It's sort of old news now, all these penalties we're seeing come up.
Gonna try and have a look to see if there's anyone who hasn't got a penalty at the moment.
That'd be good. Still a bit running deep again there. Damien Hartman's probably gonna certainly be on the back of the McLaren pretty soon, I would have thought. Any luck?
No. No, I don't think there is anyone.
No.
No. Some have got absolutely loads already. Ugh.
Indeed.
Oh, no, there we go. Ari Kopp, no warnings. Not even a single warning for Ari Kopp so far.
Perfect. Good old Ari.
Marcel Dronig as well, just one warning for him. John Donkel.
Move rounds. When Martin Party with there through 8 and 9 as Martin takes to the runoff area. Oh, Guido Ocean taking avoiding action there to avoid hitting the back of Nils Ekman. I think, no, that was Nicky Visser actually, as he was getting lapped, I think. Took to the grass there so he didn't go into the back of the Toro Rosso.
Just some time to Party Cooper behind. Paul Correa is on the wet tyres. And he's on the grass at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. Not having a good night of it so far is Paul Quarret. Miguel Torni as well. Still, I mean, he's still in the mix here, but Mercedes really are not having the funnest of times these last couple of races. Just looking at the YouTube comments. These came a bit earlier than I'm reading them now, but I think that's Zander Herman's there. SC Herman's 86. That down wall won't give way. Yeah, no, it won't. What else have we got here? Eddie just letting everyone know we've got heavy rain predicted at some point during the race. Indeed, we do. Oh, Mama Shay commenting from, of course, the Pokey Cord. That was smooth. And then everyone tonight comments, smooth operator. The rain is a-coming, indeed it is.
Mama Shay frequently commenting on the streams the last few weeks.
Indeed. Paul Correa in the pits again, going back into the intermediate tyres. Just have a look at the amount of stops here. 5 stops so far for Paul. 3 for Miguel Torni as well as Nisha Mahadwasing. And then 2 stops and 1 stops is kind of the order of the day for the rest of the guys out there. Letting Nicky Visser through there is Paul Quarret as he comes round to lap them. It's quite a fun time as the leader coming through the back markers because it lets you really pull out a lead on the car that's following you.
Yeah.
Especially if you overtake the back markers at just the right time. As we saw there with Boyd Williamson there, lost a bit of time to Nicky, now 1.6 seconds behind him. Moshe there commenting, singing again, Adrian. Nope, that's me. Smooth operator. That's a damn Hazzah, Burt, on the mic for you there.
I tend to avoid trying to embarrass myself. I do it by mistake often enough. I think.
No, you do a remarkably good Pokemon theme tune, that's for sure.
That's just for us, though.
Absolutely. Our little secret. Right on the back of it, going down in peak. Right on the back of my 10%. Oh, sounding really unhealthy at the moment. That red pitch going on.
I really hate that.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, that's not the driver revving the absolute snot out of it.
No, I did think it was though in that instance. But no, it certainly isn't. There you go. There we hear it again for everyone in case you missed it last time.
And it's a glitch that only occurs when you're spectating. Just sometimes the engine will just continuously redline all the time when you're watching a car, even though it's not actually redlining. Paul Cray is finally
finally retired.
Put him out of his misery.
Finally, it's over. See, their safety car's deployed as well.
Yeah.
So this could be the turning point for a lot of drivers who are kind of out of the mix at the moment. Basden Brain being one of them. Guido Urshan, Ishay Mahad, we're seeing a lot of these guys down the back of the field.
This is really good news for Gilles de Witt, of course, who had to make an extra pit stop for those that second set of inters, sorry, in a new wing.
Front runners going onto the wet tyre now.
3 drivers with drive-through penalties for speeding under safety car, including Ari Kopp, who up to this point had no penalties.
Ugh.
So just John Donkel and there was one other who hasn't got a penalty. Who's that? Dronig. Marcel Dronig. He's got one. Oh no, he's got one. He's got penalties. He did have no penalties, but he's got penalties now. So just John Donkel left.
Just John left to get them. And still a bit opting to stay out on the inters here. So, does the rain give way soon and this all works out well for Sil, or is it going to get worse and Sil's going to have to pit again?
I would say, well, look, Nicky Viss and Boy Williamson both think it's going to get worse. They've come in for tyres. I imagine Sil's probably going to do the same on the next lap. He probably should have done it that lap, to be fair.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if he's actually going to pit at all, at least yet. Yeah, Marcel Droning, Xander Herman also going for it, as well as Mark Stappers. They're on the wets now. Oh, he caught pretty gingerly going around turn 2 there.
5-second penalty for Williamson for exceeding the track limits. That's at the hairpin.
Yeah.
Visibility is almost nothing at all.
Yeah, certainly behind the car in front really is coming down now. Martin Party Cooper still in the mix though. I say still in the mix, he's in the mix at the moment up the front. P11 there, splitting the P1, P2 at the moment.
Sil is staying out.
Yeah, I wonder what Jeff's saying.
I imagine he's probably shouting at him quite a lot, unless he told him shut up.
Or he's saying this heavy rain to continue for about 5 minutes, then light rain, and he's thinking, great, I'm going to stay on these bad boys for a little bit.
Yep.
And it's going to give me P1, Sebastian.
Well, fair play to Sil. He's either going to look very, very clever or very, very silly.
Stupid. And he'll have to switch everything off.
I think it could be the former. I think this may actually be the right call. I wouldn't like to make this call in the race myself, but it's it's certainly a possibility that this rain could go away as quickly as it came.
Indeed.
Really chucking it down now, though. It's certainly wet tyre conditions.
I mean, in fairness to these guys, in terms of their, not sure what the word is, but in terms of not crashing the car, I mean, 30 laps until the first safety car, so pretty good going from the guys tonight.
Competence, I suppose.
That's the word, yeah. That's pretty good. So just going through the order then, Nicky Visser in P1 in the Toro Rosso, Boy Williamson for Ferrari is P2, Sil de Wit is P3 in the McLaren, Damien Hartman P4, Don Donkel is P5 with Ari Kopp P6, great stuff from him, Sander Herman P7, Baz Den Brain P8, Marcel Droning P9, Niels Eekema is P10, Martin Pardy Cooper, Nisha Mahadwasing, Guido Urshan, very deeper vein, all in the pits now, so Mark Stappers now inherits P11 as these guys drop down a place each. And Guido Urshan, Miguel Torni also all in the pits, all going for the wet tyres, so it's a bit of a split field out there now, really half and half with who thinks it's going to be light, who thinks it's going to be heavy.
I don't think I've ever seen this before in an F1 Tonight race, where you have half the field.
I'll say Larry Cobb's just gone in, and so's Baz Den Brain, so it's certainly going more towards the wet tyres now.
Yeah, but still, there's 5 drivers still on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah.
When they've clearly got an opportunity to come in. I think the safety car is actually out here because of the heavy rain, which does happen. If the rain does become too extreme, you will do 5 or 6 laps behind the safety car until it, what's the word? Not perspires. Eases.
Until it sweats.
Yeah. Just sweat the rain out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if that is the case, if it is out just because of the heavy rain, then this could work in favour of the guys who are on the oh, the safety car is in this lap. Okay,
that's not what Sil wanted to see, I'm sure. Because it is still pretty heavy.
It looks like it's pouring.
Well, you got Sil, Damien Hartman, John Donkel, and Sander Hermans, and further back, Niels Eekema.
Yeah. Mama Shay comments why the VSC is actually a full safety car, so it's an SC if you like, a full safety car where there's actually a physical car on track. The reason for this is because of Paul Quare's crash a couple of laps earlier. Boy Williamson in the pits again. I don't know if he broke some wing off during the safety car.
Debrien's out. Sorry, Debrien's out.
Oh, Debrien's gone. Where? Down the back straight. We actually lost him on the casino straight. I don't know if that's under safety car. Then Brian's shock retirement there.
It was under safety car, 100%.
Blimey. So, Baz Den Brain are kind of a second retirement tonight.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
No, I didn't either. I saw him winning the race, as you'll know.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah.
Boy Williamson come in. Did you mention that a moment ago?
I did, yeah. I don't know if that's for a front wing that he chipped off during the safety car period, if he outbroke himself at some point.
Possibly. Yellow's in 2. Can't see who that is.
I think everyone's okay. Looks like they're all still going on the mini-map there.
Yeah.
Sil de Wit sticking with Nicky-ish. Not falling right off, but he is not gaining on him.
Yeah, he's losing time mostly on the exits of the corners.
Yeah. See how Marcel
2.9 as he come out of the bend.
Could be a good opportunity for Marcel Droning. Oh no, he's coming in the pits. Whatever for, Marcel.
Nicky's time was just over 2 seconds faster than Sil on that lap.
Yeah, it might be time for those wets. Marcel's pitting though. What for? I'm not quite sure. Oh, I think it might have been a drive-through. He didn't stop at all, I don't think.
Yeah, it was. Sorry.
But still, we'll hope that he can make up some ground again. If these tyres are 2 seconds faster than the other guys, then he can hopefully pick off some places here.
Yeah, he should eat up this this deficit.
Yeah, you would have thought so for sure.
Yeah, I can't for the life of me work out why we've still got 5-6 drivers still on intermediates when it's clearly heavy rain.
Yeah.
And we've had a safety car for sort of 5 laps or so. So again, plenty of opportunity for them to change their tyres without losing too much time.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they hope to gain from this, really.
No. Oh, and there's a McLaren gone off. That is Hazzah thing at the hairpin. Ironically, he's actually on the wet tyres.
I'll find him. There he is, right down the back.
Strapper's in the pit. These taps are 4 years old.
Yeah, wow.
These tyres are 4 years old, and he's changing them, serving a penalty and replacing a wing. Yes.
Yeah, indeed. We are now at the halfway point here of the F1 tonight. Netherlands, Season 7, Round 7, Canadian Grand Prix. Good evening. Oh, I've been signed out of Socials Live, so...
Oh, that's fantastic. Yep.
Brilliant.
Everyone's like, less the session. I will just have to explain to you what's happening at the moment.
Okay.
Well, it's raining. It's still raining.
Surface is moist.
Surface is a bit more than moist, unfortunately.
Surface is thoroughly damp. Coming back.
Then Daniel Burt has joined. Good.
Joined. Well, I don't know what happened there. Oops. Back.
Oh,
have I left again?
No. Ari Kopp just overtook Boy Williamson.
Oh, very nice.
Just into the hairpin.
And we're back. So we'll start again. This is F1 tonight. Netherlands, Season 7, Round 7, Canadian Grand Prix. And I chose lap 1 of 70 for me. We're not on lap 1. We're on lap 37, I think.
Yes, we
there
are.
We go. Now I can see it. 37 of 70. We just restarted the race. Lap 37, and Nicky Visser leading the way from. Oh, it's been a well fought first place for the first couple of laps here between him, Boy Williamson, Seizoen, Demi Hartman, all in the mix. But Nicky Visser sort of had the most laps led, I think, tonight so far, especially now under the wet conditions, pulling out 7 seconds on Seizoen behind him. Apart from that, pretty spread out, up and down. Well, there's a couple of little fights going on here. We got Dami Hartman, John Donkels, and the Hermans in their own little group here, and Ari Kopp, Boy Williamson, as we just mentioned, Adrian. Ari overtaking Boy Williamson for P6. It's pretty good going.
Yep, it's indeed.
I say those wet tyres don't look much nicer to drive on right now.
Yeah, still averaging 2 seconds a lap faster than the intermediates.
And they're still going. Good thing is, though, that at least these guys in that intermediate group can still have their own fight because they're all struggling just as much as each other.
Yeah.
There's still a bit of a battle to be had here. Mark Stappers leaves. Hopefully he can rejoin. Nonkel looks to hopefully make a move on Dami Hartman soon. Certainly right on the back of the Alfa Romeo driver.
The big winner here, of course, is Nicky Visser. He's absolutely laughing his head off right now.
Yeah, certainly is. One of those drivers that does really well from a front-running position, doesn't he? He kind of just takes it and runs with it.
Yeah.
Often the
yeah,
case.
I think. Yeah, unlike drivers like Boy Williamson, Debrian to an extent, Droenig, they all like to, well, they appear at least to like to run from the back and eat their way up through the field. Nicky Visser is very much a specialist of starting on the front row and finishing in P1.
Yeah, absolutely. Arikop there losing the place to... Oh, and... No, sorry, he's lapped... I think he might have lapped his teammate there. Passes Martin Pardy Cooper through turn... Or through the kink between 9 and 10. Boy Williamson retains or re-inherits P6 there. So John Donkel really pestering Damien Hartman here for P3.
Yeah, he's applying the pressure. Still no warnings for John. Sorry, one warning for John. No penalties.
Good stuff. Doing an Adrian so far then. We'll see how he gets on come the end of the race. And 7 places up from where he started this race from P11. Sardan Herman's up 8. P13.
Ooh. Very deep there, John, into turn 6, I think it was.
Yeah, these chicanes really are a pain if you go deep in them, because it just makes the second part of the chicane so much harder to take.
And of course you've got quite a long straight, longish straight after that as well. So yeah, you just lose more and more time because your exit speed was poor. Arikop now just 3 seconds off the back of... Boy Williams still got past him again, did he?
Yeah.
Sorry, he was ahead of him, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he did get past him. And certainly Boy... Maybe those intermediates starting to come into play now. Saying that, actually, yeah, Sildavit actually passes Nicky Visser, who's now stopped for inters. So the rain drying up here. That, of course, has played beautifully into the hands of Sildavit. And the likes of Damien Hartman. Maybe John Donkel. Nope, none of them actually. Nicky Visser gets out in front again.
So, yeah, it's interesting that. So, although the wets were 2 seconds faster, because the rain wasn't actually coming down so heavy for very long, yeah, Sildavit has actually managed to maintain his position ahead of Nicky.
Yeah, lost 8 seconds, but of course the pit stop's much longer than that, and that's let him come back out about 7 seconds in the lead. So, yeah, nice work from Sil. Paid off in the end. It paid off for a lot of these guys, really. Now they're all really in the mix.
Now, what Nicky needs to happen to sort of play back to his advantage is this rain to just keep trickling like this for as long as possible, because Sil's tyres will be wearing out 14 laps sooner than Nicky's. If it suddenly dries up all of it right now, that's going to benefit Sil a lot more than it will Nicky, of course, because he is currently 7 seconds ahead.
Yeah, they're all going to have to pit anyway, so...
Yeah. So, yeah, Nicky's just going to hope this rain just carries on and on and on and on until Sil's tyres just disintegrate. Which, again, we don't know when this rain exactly is going to stop.
No. Yeah. Well, it was definitely going to dry up, wasn't it? Or at least become cloudy at the end. Yeah. So, when that comes, like you say, we don't know. There's 29 laps left this race.
Yeah, the wet tyres now about nearly 3 seconds a lap slower than the inters.
Yeah, it's really swung back in the favour of the inter runners, hasn't it? Sure. Arikop back up to P7 as Neil Ziekma and Marcel Droning come into pits for intermediates. If Barry Deepervein and Miguel Tawny do the same this lap.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't on the previous one, actually.
Yeah, because they've just come round, haven't they? The start finish straight. Anyway, they carry on going. Soldier on.
Tawny is soldiering on into the wall there at turn... is that turn 2? No, turn 7,
I think. Did he get damage from that?
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Ooh, back end slipping out a bit there. And the gap's coming down though, 6 seconds now to Nicky Visser from Sildavit.
Yeah. And this is just the benefit of being on fresher tyres now.
Yeah.
And it's also a benefit of being Nicky Visser.
Yeah, that as well.
Let's not take that away from him. He is an exceptionally skilled driver.
Yeah, absolutely.
John Donker went straight on. It looked like at turn 7 and 8. That is it 7 and 8 or 8 and 9?
8 and 9.
8 and 9.
Kind of second chicane.
Yeah, he didn't receive a warning for it because he rejoined the track to the left-hand side of that little chevron, that little orange chevron.
The bollard.
The bollard, yeah.
Bollards to you.
Very good, Dan.
Thanks very much.
Bollards to you.
A bit more of a child-friendly version of what we normally go for. The, there's I can see there's a. Is that a Williams? Yeah, Williams in the wall at turn 6, 7.
Yes.
On the track, I'm not quite sure how much of that wing he's actually lost. Oh, it looks like a lot of that left-hand side front wing will be red for Martin Party Cooper, so a pit stop definitely on the cards.
I need to make a correction. John Dogle did receive a warning for taking that, for cutting that corner.
Did he? Okay.
Despite going to the left of the bollard.
I wonder how you must have to lift off as well, surely. To, I mean, in effect, if you were skilled enough to just, thread it between the bollard and the wall, you could just take that line every race and go, well, I went between the bollard.
That's true. Yeah.
I guess you want to lift off a bit.
Sorry, John up to 4th now. He just passed Sander Herman's. Oh no, he was already 4th. It was behind Amy Hunt, wasn't it?
John Docker now falling back a bit, isn't he? Now Sander Herman's reading him in.
Just while you're on that battle, I was going to say Tawny and Deeper Vein still on the wet tyres.
Yeah, they're not stopping, are they? I wonder what the benefit they see of doing that is.
Well, their lap times, right? Let's look at the race leaders' lap times. 22.1 for Seal, 21.8 for Nicky, 22.9 for Damie, all around that sort of area. The wet runners, Deeper Vein, 29.5. And
okay.
Miguel Tawny, 28.0. So yeah, at least 5 or 6 seconds difference.
Yeah, that's that's enough to say, right, time to stop now.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe if the deficit wasn't too much, maybe they're just, they're going to lose less time by staying out than if they pit and wait for the rain to stop. But yeah, definitely in this instance, they've got to stop now and just get those inters on so they can stay in this race.
Yeah, Tawny's in. Deeper Vein's doing yet another lap. You can see as he drives that the front tyres especially are just slipping when he moves the steering wheel. They're just understeering all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually true to the weather conditions, but a telltale sign for me that it's kind of drying or at least getting less wet is when you can kind of see this mist spraying off the tyres.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of mist, at least in my opinion, to when it's fully raining heavily, because there is kind of an obvious spray coming off. But you kind of get this, which you can see now, this mist, which says to me it's starting to... It's definitely not wets anymore, that's for sure.
No.
Certainly inters, and maybe it's... Hopefully the rain's starting to ease now for some of these drivers. We're looking at getting some dry tyres on soon. It's Hermans and John Donk already locked in battle here.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt there. Mahadra Singh looked like he was about to make a brilliant move on Deeper Vein just out of the final corner, and it looked like Deeper Vein just lost control of the rear wheels again, being on those wet tyres isn't helping, and he pulled right across Marjorie Singh's McLaren. I think there may be some damage.
Yeah, there is. It's definitely a red right front wing. VSC deployed for... Oh, that's Sander Hermans. Get on board with Guido Ursch and see if we can pick up some of that accident there. That's exiting the turn 14, the wall of champions there. I don't know if he's actually hit the wall or just spun the car exiting that corner. It looks like maybe it was a spin. No, he's hit. I can see some debris on the right-hand side, I think. I'm not sure, actually. I think that might have just been a spin. He's lost the back end of the car coming around the final corner there. Sander Hermans, our third retirement tonight. It's a real shame to see him go. Obviously, Ferrari were looking on to take some good points here, especially compared to the Alfa Romeo guys who were a man down already. But that's kind of levelled the playing field now, and they're back to one driver apiece.
Speaking of man down, John Donkel's just picked up a third warning, and that is now
penalty.
All drivers with penalties.
Ah, well, someone's, you can't win them all. Not everyone can be as good as Adrian.
Well, I keep hearing that.
Yeah, well, it's just a common, well-known fact. A hard act to follow.
I only don't get penalties because I'm not quick, so I'm I'm driving rather than racing. So it's very easy to drive around this circuit.
Yeah.
Much more difficult to race around it and not get penalties.
I guess aren't you just cruising?
Yeah, that's all I do.
Hope to pick up the odd overtake in the pit lane.
I made one overtake in the entire race.
Where was that? Was that while someone pitted?
It wasn't actually. It was a move on Jamie Good. He was on the hard tyres, which he was really struggling with, and I was on the mediums, which I'd been on for about 25 laps prior to that. I was just in my zone.
Nice. And to that I say, oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. Boy Williamson running a bit wide there. That's John Donkel through. John Donkel was fighting one Ferrari, now he's got another one on his bum, and through goes Boy Williamson to take P4. Makes the corner clean there as well, so no penalties at least, maybe a warning, but it looked pretty good from here. It's a bit slippery there on the exit of turn 10. Turn 10 probably the hardest corner to do in the wet of this track.
Yep.
Just because you're thrown into it at such high speed, and then you've got to bring the car almost to a stop to get around it.
Yeah, almost, yeah. Only 40 miles an hour you do. Well, it sounds like a lot. You wouldn't want to do 40 miles an hour around it in a normal car. But, it's very slow in terms of Formula 1. Barry Deepervane is on the medium tyre. He's come off the wet tyres, now on the medium. Just completely bypassed the inters.
Interesting. Well, let's see how this goes. Exiting the pit lane, then we'll get our first idea of how these tyres feel.
Jamie Hartman doing the same, and Shepard and Tawney as well.
Come on then, Barry. This could be it certainly is. I mean, it's raining, but there is definitely a dry line now, if not a dry track. I mean, it looks pretty. Yeah, there goes. The rain's just stopped. The Barry Deepervane right on the ball there with that call. Great strategic move there from the rookie.
Still a bit leading the race, just coming up to the pit lane entrance. Expect him surely to come in.
At least he's gonna maintain the lead for a little while longer. 22 laps remaining of this Canadian Grand Prix.
Nicky Viss is staying out. Sorry, Nicky's staying out.
Nicky has stayed out. Maybe I don't know what he's trying to. There's no rain coming down, Nicky, mate.
Yeah, it's definitely dry.
Definitely dry now, buddy.
So Boy's in from 3. John's in from 4.
Yeah, so still can retain P2 at least. I've got Nils Ekema right up his tush, but of course Nils backed down, I think. Stage in the Grand Prix. Jamie Hartman passing someone. Who was that?
John Donkel.
Deepervane he's just passed down the start-finish straight? Yeah, it was. Yeah, Hartman on Deepervane there. Well, let's see how the Sorry, Adrian, I keep stepping on you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, no, it was me, it was my fault. And I think we're about to say the same thing. Villeneuve was 12 seconds behind when he came out of the pit. He's now just 8.5,
Wow.
and we haven't even finished the lap.
No, I mean, they've got a very, obviously, low grip, well, it's a more mechanical grip call in this one, isn't it, than downforce. This will prove good for Sil here. Yeah, 6 seconds. 6 seconds. He made up 2 seconds in a sector already. I mean, Nicky's really dropped the ball on this one, I've got to say, at least so far. We've still got 21 laps to go. It's certainly not over till the chubby lady sings, as they say. So we'll see what happens there, but certainly going to spit Nicky out quite far behind Sil. See how that goes. Damien Hartman, I'm sure, will probably overtake Nicky as well. He's lost more places than he needed to in this instance, but we'll see. Plays out. Still a bit. 9 seconds in front of Damien Hartman. A net, what's that, about 10 seconds now, 11 seconds ahead of Nicky Visser. So I think it was 4 seconds before going into the pit, wasn't he, ahead of him?
Yes.
Now, over the course of that extra lap for Nicky Visser, he's managed to gain about 6.
Yeah, that was a real big mistake there from Nicky.
Yeah, uncharacteristic, really, you'd say as well for him.
Yeah, certainly.
Nice thing for Sid as well. He's kind of got the rear gunner of Nils Eekma to keep him company here, and hopefully protect him from anyone trying to make a pass in the coming laps.
Nils Eekma actually on for a couple of points finish here.
Yeah, certainly is. Yeah, he's on for 4 points at the moment. Still a long way to go though, so he's got time to pick up some more places if he can. And Haas as well on for a good points finish. Obviously they're on 0 so far, so
yes,
this will put them up to 5 points, and I think actually put them on level pegging with Mercedes. Following a single Grand Prix, so like we touched on sort of in the intros, one race can really see a big change in the standings. The beauty of Formula 1, and it's something to do with this league where everyone just kind of stick within each other, and so much can happen in one race. No one really runs away with it, which is really nice to it's nice to watch because it's not just a one-man race.
No.
Certainly more interesting than real Formula 1, although I love it anyway because Hamilton's winning. But
yawn.
Yawn. But thanks, guys. Best fans.
Boy Williamson has just set a purple first and second sectors. He's got fastest lap on the previous lap as well, 13.650. He's
Nice.
about to break it.
Very quick there, still it goes purple for now though, 13.4.
Yeah,
Not much
no
quicker than his
purple
last
sectors.
time actually on the beginning of the race. So the 13 is kind of that standard fastest lap time. We'll see what Boy can do here. Looks like we'll be at 112. Did he get a penalty on that lap, or did he get the fastest lap? I see a 112.4 on his wheel. There we go.
yeah, Visser got a 12.8, which was fastest lap, and then Boyd got a 12.4. All three fastest sectors.
Yeah, and speaking of this, they're really putting Damien Hartman under pressure now as well. Less than a second to the Alfa Romeo driver. This could again play into Sildavit's hands here with these two fighting if they do, which I'm sure they will, because none of these drivers here are slouches. They're not going to let the other one pass. They're on the same strategy now. Got nothing to lose by, or nothing to gain, I should say, by letting him through.
These guys have done sort of 50, 75 races with each other, with the exception of Sildavit. So they know how each other drives. They're very much used to being in close battling with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Both champions as well. None of them are in the wall of champions though so far, which is good to see. Yeah, Nicky gaining loads of time out that last corner there, turn 14. He closes up through turn 1 and 2. Elsewhere though, Martin Party Cooper at the back of the field, challenging Mark Stappers for P13. sort of our two only battles going on right now. It's quite spread out other than that. And Martin closing up on Mark, probably not going to make a pass here.
Oh, Nicky's just bounced off the wall. Sorry, Nicky just bounced off the wall at turn 7.
Lost that end plate, but he almost tried to go over Damien Hartman there. Good spot, Adrian. I missed that one. It was at exiting the corner, was it, turn 7?
That was on the entry.
On the entry, wow, okay. See what you can do with some wing damage then. Obviously, this, like we said, it's playing in sort of its hand. 10 seconds now, the gap to him and Damien Hartman, so slowly pulling away. Where we've seen Nicky get a really good run out of that last corner here, and we've seen it again. Gets on the outside of Damien Hartman into turn 1. Gives him the inside for turn 2, and he makes the pass stick. Nice work. Commentators also driver there. Damien Hartman runs nice and wide onto the grass. Not going to do your tyres any good.
I feel like Nicky is driving very sort of aggressively at the moment, which might have been the cause of his little bump with the wall on the previous lap. But he's doing so because I think he knows what he's done on with the basically with the pit strategies, the pit call. So now he's, as my dad would say, driving like the clappers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who I just thought were really rubbish, because every time my dad did it, he'd spin off somewhere. So.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm gonna have to drive, go like the clappers now. What you mean? Just spin off? Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Nicky might be putting out a book after this race called "From Leading the Way to Ruining the Day." The Nicky Visser story. The Nicky Visser story. We'll see though. It depends if he wins or not.
Love it.
Love it. Sorry, yeah, I was going to actually touch on the YouTube comments. Mama Shay, ever talkative in the comments, is saying again, I think she was saying ouch there to the Zander Hermans. Maybe Boy Williams. No, Zander Hermans, yeah, the turn 14.
Yes.
The laps back. And she puts lol, not everyone could be as good as Adrian. Absolutely. Quite right. Saying he was having a picnic in the car on Tuesday.
Oh, I was.
He was.
I wasn't bothered about the race.
Here we go. There, Nicky Visser approaching Neil Ziekma, build of its bodyguard. Still has definitely left him in his dust. He now passing the Haas driver. Hartman also getting through crucially before that chicane. And Neil's doing the gentlemanly thing though and slowing down, I think, to let both those drivers through. So that was nice of him to do. And by the book, of course.
Despite the damage on the Toro Rosso, Nicky is just at the fastest third sector.
Yeah, he's still. I mean, luckily the M plates, at least missing one of them, doesn't make too much of a difference to the car. I feel. Certainly there is a difference, but it's Damien Hartman, really good run on him through 5 and into 6.
Tasty.
Yeah, delicious. DRS wide open then for the Alfa Romeo. Can he do something into turn 8 here under the bridge? Something to do with the name of this corner as well, that bridge. I did read about that. I can't remember what it is though, so there you go. But it plays into the... No worries. But you can find that out on Wikipedia. the Duato Casino, however the hell you call it. I think it's actually just called Casino. Plain English or French accent.
Boy's got it.
Yeah, Damien Hartman.
Damie even.
Oh God, Nicky didn't want to give it up though. That was probably the best side-by-side driving I've seen through 13.
Brilliant.
That's a bloody hard corner to go side-by-side through. But this guy's, they're both champions. They know how to drive and they have a lot of respect for each other, as was shown with that little battle there. So Damien Hartman retakes P2. Obviously all of this really playing into sort of its hands here. 13 laps to go. Obviously, come the end of the Grand Prix, Nicky Visser could be at an advantage with slightly newer tyres, but again, I think by the end, all tyres will still be within their window, won't they, Adrian?
No.
Oh, hello,
Ben?
Adrian?
Oh,
You there, Adrian?
I have no idea what happened.
Sorry, no, I was just saying,
talking
obviously, by the end of the race, Nicky's tyres will be slightly fresher, but of course, it's only 13 laps, so their tyres, all of their tyres will still be well within their operating range, won't they?
Yeah, I thought so, certainly.
The gap, though, starting to drop, 9.2 seconds from 10 seconds a couple of laps back, but it's certainly not coming down by any blistering pace. I think Sil will still be happy. I just hope he can... I think this is good for Sil, though, because we often only see him really have issues when he's got someone right behind him.
Yeah.
Or if he's... well, then again, actually, you know, take his Monaco drive. He looked really calm, and he had 3 or 4 race winners and champions up his bum. So, I mean, he certainly did well to maintain a composed drive there. So I think we're certainly seeing an improved driver in Sildavit these last couple of races in terms of his ability to manage that pressure.
Yeah, certainly. And I hope he isn't listening to this right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's hard to talk about drivers when you know they might be listening in.
Yeah.
You don't want to put them off.
And I was about to say that Sildavit, despite being as quick as he has never won a race before.
No.
He's finished second twice, I believe. And yeah, this could be the first one.
Who did you call for the win? Jamie Hartman?
Boy,
okay. Looks like none of us are getting any booze tonight, mate. As it stands, I'm certainly not. But do you know what? Not a problem. I'm happy that this man here is leading the way at the moment. It'll be good to be in the presence of his maiden victory.
Absolutely.
Oh, Damien Hartman right into the exit there of turn 2. That's certainly an end plate, if not more, that's come off that car there. We're going to try and get an angle on that for you. Just an end plate, it looks like. So he's got the same damage as Visser ahead of him. It levels out the playing field a bit. We'll see who can drive better with a damaged car now then.
And again, this is playing into Sil's hands. Both of his main rivals in this race are damaged. Yeah.
11 laps to go now.
Sil's still underfueled.
Yeah, do you know how much by? Do you know how much he's got to save?
I do not have that information, unfortunately.
No, yeah. But do you know he's still underfueled at this point?
Yes, he's definitely underfueled. There are, at the end of this lap, there'll be 11 laps to go, and he's got less than 11 laps of fuel.
How can you tell? Is there any way we can see that on the old stream here?
There is. If you put the telemetry on, if the little fuel icon is yellow, that means he has not got enough fuel to make it to the end.
Okay, well there we go then. Thank you very much.
Unless he, uses lean or other fuel-saving tactics like lift and coast.
Well, I'm not sure which dial is the fuel one on the McLaren steering wheel. I can't tell where he's got it set.
I actually have the. You won't see it on the wheel. You will see it on the telemetry HUD. I suppose if you go to spectator menu and actually put it on.
That now. Can you see what fuel mode he's in then? Can you?
No, I can't see what mode he's in. No, I can only see that the icon is yellow.
But there is actually, you can see physically the dial does move, doesn't it? Depending on where they've set the fuel mode. I'm wondering if you can see that on the wheel. You know which dial it is for the fuel mix. I presume he's just running it in lean. I mean, he's got no other reason to push now, has he? He's just got, he's got 9 seconds to play with here. With, effectively they've got to gain a second a lap now to challenge him for this win.
Yeah.
So he can really kind of bring it home. Fingers crossed for him that he can do that.
You wouldn't have thought that sort of 10-15 minutes ago it was absolutely chucking it down.
No, I mean, it's beautiful now, isn't it? The sun's out. Nice cumulus clouds dotted in the sky. It's gorgeous out there. It's a lovely day for racing.
Damien Hartman did come in on the previous lap, by the way, for soft tyres and a new wing.
So I think he's probably kind of relegated himself here to a top 5 finish.
Yeah, top 5
fastest
and
lap.
fastest lap. Yes, which of course you get an extra point for.
Indeed. Just looking for the other drivers. Is anyone else underfueled? Or is it just Sil?
I think it's just Sil.
Yeah, it is.
John Toggle's just left the session. I think he's just been kicked out.
Okay, well this works well for Damien Hartman. Obviously in unfortunate circumstances for John. Well, there was AI still going. I'm not quite sure. What do we put the AI on for these sessions? Is it 100 or is it?
No, 40.
Oh,
God,
okay,
blimey. You put it on 100. Everybody will just pause when it rains, and that's it.
Yeah. Nice thing about having it on a higher setting though is at least people's cars can kind of stick in the race when they get higher.
Yeah.
There's probably a middle ground for that, just to keep their car in the race. Has rejoined now though, so we'll get him back in this car pretty quickly hopefully. Still P5, which all things considered a pretty good run from P11 where he started this race from 62 laps ago.
Worst thing, of course, that can happen. Oh, John's out again. Worst thing that can happen, other than that, is the AI just decides to pit you when you don't need to, or something like that.
Good. Of course, we are now 8 laps away, and that gives us ample time to run through the remaining drivers. Have a look at how their races have gone. So we'll go from the back of the grids to the front. That brings us to Mark Stappers in P14. Difficult race for Mark. 5 places down from where he started, P9. Great qualifying. The only Renault here tonight. Has kind of gone backwards in the race, hasn't he?
Yeah, and also it was Mark that spun on the Wall of Champions during Q3 that ruined a few drivers' laps. It's just an unfortunate circumstance, but yeah, it just hasn't really had his best race by any means. It's not, I think, be one to forget for him.
Yeah, I mean, we can almost say that for, I mean, not to rush through these guys here, but we can almost say that for a couple of guys, sort of in the guys outside the top 10 here. We got Miguel Torney, we come to next. He's P13. Although he's come up 3 places from the back of the grid, granted, because of some DNFs, but also he has passed Mark Stappers. It's just, I don't know what it is with the Mercs. They just can't seem to, they don't seem to really look comfortable on any track so far.
No, not yet. Not yet. I think that their time will come.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I certainly hope so.
I have to just imagine that they're just using time trial setups for each race, and perhaps they're only just grabbing them at the last second before the race itself, so they've not actually done any practice. I could be completely wrong, of course. I could be way out. They might have done 100 laps each.
Yeah,
and perfected the setups themselves, but I can only go by the things that we see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Nicky Visser stopped as well earlier on. I don't know if we mentioned that or not. I think he stopped for... Is he on the soft tyre now?
Yes.
Yes. So next up, go back to the HUD. There we go. It's back. There it goes. Gets back to the position gains and then go on to our next driver, which is Martin Parley Cooper. Kind of same situation there as Mark Stappers, really, isn't he? I mean, he's lost 4 places from the get-go. Certainly a real switch in performance from the Williams guys, I think, today.
Yes.
Often Martin is kind of ahead of Ari, but it's really flipped around today. Obviously, it's been a real race of, you know, sort of 3 distinct sections with the dry start, wet middle, and now this section we're in now. But certainly Ari seems to have coped with that better than Martin tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it looks like Ari is driver number 1 in this race. It's a really good position for him. I know we're not talking about him at the moment, but yeah, Parley Cooper again it's another one to forget, because he's capable of certainly more than P12. And here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was running. I think he was running in the points with Ari at one point. So I think the rain just threw a lot of people out of sync during this sort of second half of the race here.
Yeah.
But Very Deep Vein up next in P11, unfortunately just outside the points, but not too far off of the next car up the road.
Sorry, don't interrupt. Nils Ekman is retired. That's our virtual safety car.
And he's gone out
as a result of that. So looks like he's gone straight on at turn 3.
Almost done a Massa.
Mm.
Don't know if anyone affected that, or if that was just him.
I believe it was just him. He wasn't with anyone at the time.
Yeah, I mean, certainly still will be happy to see it was just a VAC and not a full safety car, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's okay for him at the moment. So yeah, Very Deep Vein had, I mean, again, another good race. He's actually overtaken all those 3 drivers behind him at the moment, so he certainly had a good race. Made a bit of an odd call staying on the wets longer than we thought he needed to, didn't he?
Yep.
After that wet period, so maybe strategy is something he might need to just reflect on following this Grand Prix, but still a good showing from him and his teammate who's just retired.
Yeah, it was good, and yeah. I mean, like you said, he was on those wet tyres. He had a bit of an incident, didn't he, at the Wall of Champions, so he lost control and come across a Mahadra's thing. I think he'll probably suffer from that after the race. But yeah, other than that, I think he's had a decent race. Just needs to work on that strategy call.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously his teammate's just ahead of him, which we can't touch on because his car's obviously retired. But yeah, another good race from Nils following his first race out last week at Monaco.
Yeah.
So, oh, there goes my controller. Certainly looking comfortable in the car as he did last week as well. To be fair, I mean, he's certainly making some good challenges in his first race. So still some good building blocks to carry on improving as we go on throughout the season.
Yeah, I've been impressed with his performances so far, despite him not actually finishing a race yet. But he's showing good promise.
Yeah, absolutely. Already touched on Berry. I don't know. Is he just passed? Oh no, there you go. Drivers just passing Nils Ekman. Sorry. Nisha Mahadrasing then P9. It might look like on the face of it a poor race. Obviously, he's lost 4 places, but he's actually, especially in qualifying and even in the race, has made some good overtakes. So I don't think it's been a weak performance from him. All things considered, it's obviously not been great, but he's certainly shown some promise in terms of his overtaking and qualifying tonight. Yeah,
he's been okay. I mean, he has been lapped twice by his teammate, which it's never very good.
No.
But yeah, no, he's had an okay race, and again, another driver who's probably out of position at the moment. So he is certainly capable of more.
Yeah.
You know, for me, he is a top 4 driver. But,
oh yeah.
I just think he just hasn't got on with the circuit. Hazzah? Ben?
I'm here. Sorry. Just, it's 10 o'clock, mate. That's when the interruptions come. Right, Guido Urshan then is up next. Again, one of the the big winners we're coming on to now in this race. Up 9 places from where he started this Grand Prix. In peace, dead last. And he's looking to bring home 4 points as it stands. Or is that 6 points? That's 4 points for Red Bull. So, yeah, a good performance from Guido.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, as I said, started last. Now up to 8. Sorry, for the reason for the hesitation there was John Donkel is coming into the pit. I don't know whether that's his AI making that call or him.
Okay.
I haven't seen him rejoin.
Yeah.
But yes, very good performance from Guido, despite not being able to do the final corner very well much this race. He has suffered a vast number of penalties as a result of that. But
yeah,
position-wise and drive-wise, he's had a good race. But yeah, the penalties will kill him.
Yeah, they will, unfortunately. Marcel joining his teammate, although finishing ahead of him, he's lost a place from the start, but still. One of the better showings from Marcel, really, I think, as of late. Although definitely much, it's definitely going to keep boosting him up the table because obviously he jumped up 2 places since last week. So certainly, on a consistent run at the moment in terms of points finishes.
No, he's it's been good. Yeah, I mean, he scored 6 points here. I think it could have been more if his qualifying position was a bit higher. I said that there was a car across the track at the final corner, which just cost him completely. But yeah, P7 is nothing to turn your nose up at. Absolutely.
Yeah, another good result for Red Bull. Ari Kopp then in the Williams, really impressive finish for him tonight. It's certainly his best result, I think, so far this season at least.
Yep.
P6 and 9 places up from where he started the race, P15. So
sorry, this has just passed Damien Hartman as we're just starting the final lap.
Yes, indeed. I'm keeping an eye on Sildovit's little orange dot there as he goes round sector 1.
But Ari Kopp, absolutely phenomenal race so far. Penalties wise, I don't think he's had too many. I think he's had he didn't get any warnings actually for the first nearly half of the race.
Yeah, he's almost doing Adrian, wasn't he?
He has had 2 penalties since then though, but it's a very good result. Track position, really, really good. P6 is his highest finish so far.
Absolutely, yeah. And we will touch on the other drivers we come to the race. I need to start this rundown about 10 laps earlier.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take as long as it takes much longer than you think when you're doing it for real. But Sildovit now coming down the Casino Straight to take victory pretty shortly. 7.5 seconds ahead of Boy Williamson in the Ferrari behind him.
Well, Willie, penalties.
Yeah, well, we'll see how the... yeah, that's a good point, actually. See how the penalties come up. But so far, Sildovit across the line takes P1 for the Canadian Grand Prix for F1 tonight, Netherlands. Boy Williamson still P2. Nicky Visser, is he going to stay P3? See what happens. He comes round, final corner, down the start-finish straight. P3. I think Sil's done it.
I think he has.
P1 Sebastian, Sil de Vin, finally.
Damien Hartman with his classic high to take P4. No, I think he just slowed down.
Oh, okay, fair enough. High five in the fans as he goes by. Standard Alfa Romeo procedure. John Donker will come home P5 behind Damien Hartman. Goes for John, P6, 6 places up from start of the race. P5, 10 points for Toro Rosso with Nicky's 15. Good haul. Finishes P5. Ari Kopp, P6. Marcel Droning is P7 with Guido Urshan, P8. Nishay Mahadra P9. Very Deeper Vein is P10. Fantastic stuff. And now the champagne! A bit too soon, it's coming in a minute.
Oops.
Hi, Adrian.
No, I didn't mean to do that. Did not mean to do that, sorry.
And there we have it. Our race results for the Canadian Grand Prix Round 7 of F1 tonight, Netherlands. Of course, Sildovit wins the race. And we have agreed he takes Driver of the Day. So congratulations, Sildovit. Now known as Sildovin. Finally, the name fits. And Boy Williamson, Nicky Visser round out the top 3. Damien Hartman, P4. John Donker, P5. Ari Kopp, P6, Marcel Droning, P7, Guido Urshan, P8, Nishay Mahadra P9, Very Deeper Vein, P10, Martin Parley Cooper, P11, Miguel Tawney, P12, and Mark Stappers, P13. Niels Eekma, Sander Hermans, Baz Denbrain, and Paul Quarret are the non-finishers for this season.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Sil. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased for him. He's that win has been a long time coming and thoroughly deserves it, as well as driver of the day. Of course, only one penalty for him.
Yeah, absolutely cracking stuff. And yes, I think one we can definitely agree on for Sil. Yeah, cracking stuff. And I think what better track to get it at than the first Grand Prix that Hamilton won on. So,
absolutely, quite right.
A new Hamilton in the ranks, perhaps. Who knows? But Sil de Wit is your winner tonight. His name on the screen for you now as the driver of the day as well. So congratulations to him, as well as Boyd Williams and Nicky Bitter for the podium, and of course to all the other drivers for coming along and racing and giving us a great show week in, week out. 17 drivers tonight, great stuff. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the viewers as well. Thank you all for watching and commentating. Mama Shay tuning in there and saying congrats to Sil for the win. Sure he'll appreciate that. But from me, I think that's all I have to say. That of course means it's time for the great big Hazzah to to sign us off. Anything from you, Adrian?
No, nothing else. Just a little fun fact for you about that race. There were 178 warnings administered to the drivers collectively, and yes, I did count them, so I went quite a bit at the end.
Very nice. That's 100 more than you gave us early on in the race. So well done, boys. Yeah, I think that rounds off a pretty exciting race. Watching home, and yeah, I've already said my piece. Anything from you, Adrian?
No, nothing more from me.
Perfect. Well then, as always, it's a huzzah from me.
And goodbye from me. Goodbye.